View crew! What up, everybody? Welcome back to A Certain Point of View. The first time in like 10 days since we've been on stream. First time in forever since we've been here. Hope everyone's doing well out there. As you can see, we're celebrating the merry season that is Christmas here on POV. Hope everyone's having a great week. Great couple weeks as we haven't been on the air in a little bit. A nice little breather since Spectacular did arrive in big, glorious fashion. As you can see, we're missing one today. Jill was supposed to be here, but they are having a little car issue at House Sullivan. And so she might be here a little later. If not, she'll give her thoughts later on. But you know the crew. Everyone's here. Brian, Molly, how you guys doing? It's been a little bit. It's been a little bit. You guys doing okay?
It's been so long since I've seen your faces. Literally.
I want to go back.
Me too. Oh, and here's the church bells. Yeah, no. Sean, yes. Chuck, Sean's car is on the side of the road. It won't
Today
move.
might be like the day for car troubles because I got a flat tire, which we didn't know about until Alex tried to take the car back out to go play D&D tonight. He was like, "Oh, one of our tires is flat." I was like, "What?" So
I hate flat tires. They are the worst.
Yeah.
And then did you have to go buy a whole new set of all brand new tires? That's what is the worst.
Not yet. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, it's freaking hurricaning here. So
yeah, if you hear like sounds going on in the background, that's probably
other than the church bells.
Well, other than the bells.
Oh, well, I'm pointing to my garage. I'm not pointing to Brian. My garage door is right here, so the rain is like clashing up against the garage door.
Yeah, and I'm up against my window, which it like directly hits.
Yeah,
it's freaking hurricaning in Sacramento.
It's like supposed to be all week too. It's supposed to be
25 mile per hour winds, rain. People,
that's nothing
for us. That's a lot. That's
okay. Okay.
and oh no, I'm getting wet.
Yeah. Oh my God, Molly, you should see how people drive in this state when it's raining. They're like, oh my God, we forgot how to drive.
I mean, that happens in Atlanta.
It's like they've never seen water before.
Literally. I will say though that we clearly haven't had rain in a while because like everything is flooded. Everything. It's I will say it is hilarious though also seeing middle school and high school people just not know how to function in the rain. Running to classes. Half of them are still in shorts and a t-shirt. It's pretty funny. It's good times. It's entertaining.
So obviously we have a pretty big show tonight. We have two champions joining us tonight. The Star Wars champion, Mr. Thomas Harper, and then one half of the team squad of Shazam and Brendan Meyer will be joining us a little bit later in the show. Before we bring on the Major, and talk about his victory over Nikki DiMolanta and one heel turn that happened.
Turn?
It's a turn. And we'll talk to him about it. Let's just talk a little bit about our weekend, just quickly. We don't have to divulge too much because I do want to talk or save a little bit for when Jill is here. I mean, we had a fun weekend. We got there on Thursday. We left on Sunday. We were full of shenanigans all weekend long. Brian, was it everything that we hoped it would be?
Oh, 100%. Other than the tomfoolery that the Airbnb has on their website. They bamboozled us a little bit on that one, but it was fun. I mean, we barely spent any time there other than happy hour and spending $110 worth of Taco Bell.
Thank you, Kyle Becksworth, for your Taco Bell gift card.
Yeah,
in gift cards, too. Like, not only is that impressive, but we did it in gift cards.
Yeah, I got damn near cussed out by the Taco Bell's employees when I was walking out. But yeah, no, it was, I did not want it to end to the point where I in our house stayed out the latest one night. That should tell you.
Yeah.
I mean,
party
if I'm
animal.
doing them, that says it enough.
Well, they were all from East Coast time, so
I was so sad by the end of it. Just like how tired we were. I just like completely ran out of steam. But yeah, it was like nonstop craziness. I've never felt my age more.
Hi, PJ.
Because of him. His fault.
Yeah. All
blaming you, PJ.
Go to bed, PJ.
No idea what we're talking about, but whatever. That's okay. No, it was I mean, it was obviously a lot of fun, and yeah, like Molly said, it was nonstop. Like we didn't stop doing anything. But that was the best part because we were, and I know a lot of people saw the pictures and stuff, but we were lucky enough to have a very specific group that we were involved with at the house, going to places with, and it was we were very lucky. The group that we had was very good. We all got along very well. You guys saw it on Happy Hour how well we got along.
I mean, freaking Zach surprised us that night.
Yeah, that Zach Burkett showed up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Molly comes running through the house, opens the front door, and Zach Burkett walks through the house. Like literally, that's how it went down. Like 5 minutes before we were supposed to start Happy Hour, Zach Burkett just showed up.
Yeah.
But no, it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and Jill's birthday was incredible. Seeing all those people.
Those poor bartenders.
Well, it was just the one for the longest time.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he made a lot of money.
Molly and I are still trying to figure out when we were out in the living room, someone farted really loud and we are unsure. You remember?
Oh, yeah. That had to have been, I thought it was Hoey, but I don't know that. I don't remember if we asked
Just
him.
blame Hoey because he's not here. Just blame Hoey.
Could have been PJ, could have been Paige. They're downstairs too.
Yeah.
I feel like PJ and Paige one of them might own it if it happens to be them.
Paige would.
Yeah.
She's a savage.
Well, we do have a couple of Streamlabs that I do want to save a little bit because I want to get to our guest. These are some just general Streamlabs that I'll save for after Thomas Harper does skedaddle out of here. So let's just bring them on. Talk Star Wars, as this match was absolutely insane. So you're reigning, defending Star Wars champion heading into season 9 of the movie trivia Schmoedown. That is one, the Major Thomas Harper. What is up?
Wow.
Good to have the belt still around Rex's waist.
Yeah, I mean it looks good.
See y'all.
It looks good. Yeah,
I don't like this. I don't like this this screen between us. This was much nicer over the weekend, just physically being together.
It was pretty cool because I mean we were lucky enough to stand up top and watch the matches, and after your match you came up, and for the most part, I mean we were able to kind of hang out and talk and
leave the belt a couple times.
Yeah, you randomly leave the belt around.
It's a trap. It's just seeing where loyalties lie. That's all it is. Who
we're
else?
happy to babysit.
No, it was an absolute blast. I mean, that's a good starting question before we get into kind of the Schmoedown stuff. This is like the first real Schmoedown experience you got to be a part of, being live. All of these fans, Los Angeles, downtown LA. How was the weekend? How was the event? Was it everything that you kind of expected it to be? Were there any highs and lows? Your thoughts on all that?
Yeah, it was I mean, I feel like the whole first part of the weekend through the end of the match was just one big blur. It's hard to separate like moment from moment, but it was electric.
That part's the blur, not the Barney's part after.
That part was a sleepless mess. Denny's was the savior. I credit Denny's for me making it back home to my family. No, I think coming into the weekend, there were several things that were important to me. One of the priority was answering the mail on the character aspect, because one thing that sort of irked me all season long was, and quite frankly, the like sometimes valid criticism or questions about people like, well, can you play a character or whatever? Honestly, personally, I felt that that's not a standard that had been held, that other players had been held to in the division. But I knew what I was capable of. We all know, anybody that's played digitally knows that kind of the set of handcuffs that's on you. That's why people like Laura and as much as it pains me to admit this, Gold Leader are true shining stars here, because they can transcend that sort of barrier there and bring some character across. But that was critically important. I said before in interviews ahead of the thing that I had some tricks up my sleeve. I meant that very literally, because not even Christian knew. He didn't know I was going to come out in uniform.
Nice.
When I stepped out of the curtain, the only thing there was a very small circle that knew that I was going to come in some face paint, and their idea of it was like a few black stripes, like Schwarzenegger style.
Commando. That's
Commando.
What I thought of.
Yeah, that was my note. In fact, that was the picture that was sent to me, was like, replicate this, and I was like, I got you one better. Don't worry about that. But you know, I had my training crew. I practiced in that full getup with different face paints, like some that were disasters, and really had me question the whole thing. But you know, I wore that. What you saw is not something off the rack at an Army Navy store. I wore that in Afghanistan, so there was kind of a nice personal connection. And my wife, as I was like, you know, when I made the decision to wear it, she was like, I think this is gonna really help you. Like, this is like home for you in a lot of ways. And it really was like that, like putting on all of that. And you know, the face paint's probably a little bit extra, but you know, it felt like home. And I felt like finally I got a chance to show people what I'm capable of, and do something like not just show character, but take my character to the next level, evolve it, and say, I know what this league is about. I know maybe the missing link. I can answer Star Wars questions. I know my stuff there, but here's something a little bit extra. That was important to deliver for all the fans that were there. And I think the arc that my character has taken, and sort of just the setup with Nikki there, was just absolutely perfect for everything. It almost wouldn't have worked if you're playing somebody like Gold Leader, who's also getting like booed and stuff. It just playing somebody who's so beloved and who is so good simultaneously it was like the perfect recipe. Like, you couldn't have scripted it any better.
I mean, I think it was definitely a high. Like,
Mhm.
I think your character came through more so than it ever has before, and we'll get into that because I got some questions on that character.
Well,
I would like-
we all met Gold Leader, right? That's not a character. That's just who he is.
Yeah, it's
That's-
just Evan. That's
yeah.
just Evan.
Yeah.
when we were
He's just a
watching the Star Wars match, because I told Gabby, and I was like, I got to stand next to Alex and Molly when we watch this match. Like, I got to see them.
It was the
converse.
nerdiest thing
I
I've
loved
ever seen.
and
in
Zach
my
was
like,
life.
standing there, but so we were standing at a table, and then the next table was like most of the exchange with like Rick Radis, and then Gold Leader was there. Every other question, he'd step over and go, "It's this," with a giant smirk. I go, "Bro, like, shut up!" Like, just go away.
Literally, the nerddom that was between Alex, Molly, Zach, Hoey,
Hoey,
Gold
yeah.
Leader,
Yeah.
all of them just.
Yeah.
You had Ace up there. Yeah, there was
Yeah,
like
Yeah,
Ace
Ace popped in, which was really nice to meet him as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's 100% Gold Leader. Gold Leader is Evan. That's who he is.
Yeah.
So.
My favorite thing of the whole entire weekend, which I don't even know if you remember saying it, Thomas, was when I was outside Barney's, you were leaving to go to Denny's, and you screamed out loud, "Gold Leader, I ordered you an effing Uber. It's going to San Diego, though."
I don't remember that, but I'm glad that I stayed in character no matter what. At all
It
costs.
was the best.
We
then
might
we
not
were-
win feud of the year, but like I have committed, and he is committed to that feud to like
It's
our
so
last
good.
dying
It is
breath.
so good. It's amazing. I love every part of it.
Yeah. And then you proceed to get into his Uber. And so it was too perfect.
Well, I do want to bring up a comment here from Christopher with the coolest last name of Stykleather. From a former member of the U.S. Air Force, I salute you, Thomas, for your service and the character you brought out. All spectacular.
Well, I'm sure I made you cringe, but that was the point of it.
I thought it worked, and because where we were standing, we weren't able to like see the entrance in it how it was supposed to be seen via the camera. Going back and watching it, it totally delivered. Like, I enjoyed every part of it. Seeing the face paint and everything from that perspective, it crushed it. So I thought now you can't disappoint. Now you have to do it every match.
Oh,
That's the
God.
problem.
Christian was like, he comes up to me, he's like very excited. He's like, "This just got to be how it is." And I was like, "Oh yeah, like live events." He's like, "No, digital interviews, promos, like everything." I'm like, "I'm gonna have to buy some more face paint."
You need one of those like face filters, and then
Yeah.
you don't have to
Right.
worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long does it take for you to put on your war paint?
So I put that on. I practiced with that's not actual camouflage paint. I practiced with actual camouflage paint. It was a complete and total disaster because when I practice, at least for this match, I had full lights on me. I wanted to as best replicate things as possible. Had the heat kind of turned up so it wouldn't be comfortable, and the stuff didn't dry. It's like oil based, and it just like by the end of this like hour and a half, it had like run into my eyes. It was just a mess. So Peggy comes in and saves the day and says, you know, when she goes to Chicago Bears games, she uses this kind of like FX makeup, and so she sent me the link. I ordered some.
That is such a Peggy thing.
Oh
yeah,
Peggy
it was.
knows how to
It's
do
perfect.
face paint for stuff.
How could you expect anything less? It was
Yeah.
perfect. But it was brilliant. I practiced in that stuff. It was perfect, exactly what I was looking for. And so I had Saul. I watched a little bit of the start of Spectacular, and then I was kind of gathering my thoughts. And right as they finished round one, I went to start getting into stuff, and it took me most of that match to get into things as they were doing their interviews. I had finished up. So, and that's with like getting the uniform on and everything. So, yeah. If I had just done my face, it would have been a lot quicker, but doing the neck and the ears, I'm still finding paint everywhere.
I know when you came up, it was like behind your ears, and I was like,
that's just how it's gonna be forever.
You were like, I only have a certain number of makeup wipes to take this off. So.
Oh yeah. Well, I found Marissa had slipped in a jar of them, like a whole case.
Okay, good.
And that was what saved the day, because there's not much in the way of paper towels or anything in the bathroom.
Yeah,
I'm sure a lot of people
bathroom I've ever seen. Throwing that out there.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people felt how Curtis felt, because Curtis was there. I'm sure a lot of people saw it and just like, wow, he went there, he did it. Like, Major has arrived.
They were surprised. Like Ken and Mark had not seen it, so I'm glad that I was able to keep that under wraps, which is cool.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I mean, it's been a while since we had a Star Wars competitor that goes to that level. I think like that's been something that we've really missed in the Star Wars division, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to think now. I mean, Light Explorer did it for a promo, but not for a match.
It's always the promos, not for a match.
Yeah.
Molly throws stuff and grabs necklaces.
Well, circling back to the match, Molly, I want you to kind of start this off, being the Star Wars player here on the channel. Anything about the match that you want to ask Thomas about, whether it be maybe the speed round, the questions, playing Nikki, just kind of kicking us off?
I mean, honestly, like the questions, the difficulty of the questions didn't surprise me at all. They were really freaking hard. Like I remember at one point, maybe it was in the speed round or right after the speed round, Alex leaned over and he was like, "I'm so glad I'm not up there." And I was like, same. This is way more fun from back here. But I know like Alex had a couple of things that he liked to do to like get ready, leading all the way up to like going out on stage. Did you have any just like things that you wanted to do, or did you just like try to zone out and stay very calm?
I honestly do the same thing that I've always done. I try to do a little bit, because I get into this phase where it's like my brain will freak out and think that everything has left it and that I don't know anything. So I'll do a little, like, look at a couple things, make sure that my brain is firing. That round two, my 5 round 2 questions were probably on par with Alex's tournament questions.
Nikki match. Yeah.
Those were the hardest the entire year. Hardest 5 questions of any in the year. So when you're at the point where you're asking about Lisa Cyrillin and that sort of stuff, yeah, that's next level stuff. So in any event, but you know, it was in that regard, not to get off track from the question, but like, I'm glad for that, because nobody can look at this and be like, well, Harper got some good questions, some easy questions, some questions that played from him. I got questions across the board that met the new meta, that really allowed me to showcase the fact that, like, I don't care what you throw at me. I don't care what direction you take the questions in. I'm going to be a step ahead, and I'm going to meet it. And there's not a weak point that you're going to find in my game. So, but before the match, I just, other than kind of reminding myself that I do in fact know a couple things about Star Wars, it's just about staying calm and energy management. That was a long day. My sleep was off. I don't know how you were, Molly, coming from the East Coast, but my body never really adjusted until the day I left. And so I was like up, and I'm like Jim in the office. I'm on like the 2 kids sleep schedule. So I'm like up at 3 a.m. California time, and like freaking out, because I'm like, I don't need to do anything right now but sleep. And so it was all about just kind of conserving energy and just getting ready for the moment, and reminding myself that you know, up to that point, in the entire season, if you cut out 2 non-canon questions, I had missed 4 questions the entire season. Like, it's going to be okay. Like, the worst that you can do is miss maybe 1 more. And, at the end of the day, if Nikki had won that match, I think the other thing that I was telling myself was like, you couldn't ask to lose to like a nicer, kinder person. And so it's not like you're losing to Darth Vader or something like that. I in fact got to be Darth Vader. So that was, that was different.
Well, it's a little bit different than Dragon Con trivia. Just a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not ever coming in face paint to Dragon Con unless I'm in cosplay.
Daniel would kick you out.
No, this has no place here.
Brian, what about you? Anything?
Yeah. First question: how happy is your wife that this is over?
Really happy. We were like, before I hopped on here, we were watching the new season of It's Always Sunny, and just like, I couldn't tell you what happened in the episodes. It was just going right back out of my brain. That was nice. It takes like, unlike folks without kids, and that's why I appreciate playing Nikki here. Like, we don't have, I don't have the same, like, we don't prep together. Like, my wife helps me prep a little bit, but we'll watch the movies together. I think at this point she's tapped out of the 12 Star Wars movies for a little while. And so really what it comes down to is like, we have our time with the kids, but this sucked away a lot of time together. And that's even when I sort of adjusted earlier in the year, my entire schedule, and I was getting up like really, really early to make time on the front end of the day so that I wouldn't be taking as much time on the back end of the day. And like, I'm not going to separate from my kids while they're awake to go study Star Wars. Like, that was a non-starter. And so at that point you're playing the game of like, I know what I need to cover. I know how long it takes me to make it through what I need to make to do. And you got to juggle. And unfortunately she sacrificed tremendously so that I could be in this position here. And I think just, getting to do normal stuff is what's really important right now. And kind of minimizing Schmoedown for the time being. So that's been really nice.
Second question: how happy are your daughters that their sticker board is back?
I haven't fully unpacked yet, if I'm being perfectly honest. And so they haven't gotten access to it.
I was talking about the belt.
Well,
were they excited, or were they just like, cool, whatever, not impressed?
Their daddy's back. Well, my wife told him that I was off to work, and so she was like, "How was work, Daddy?" And I was like, "I won." She was like, "Oh, you can." She just thinks that you win at work. I don't know. My favorite
sometimes
moment,
you win, sometimes you lose.
My favorite moment had nothing to do with my kids. I'm out 2 days ago in the front yard, like working on something with one of the Christmas lights that wasn't working. And we have an elderly couple that lives next to us, retirees, very, very sweet. And the wife is in the driveway getting ready to go somewhere. And I wasn't even paying attention, but she yells over, she's like, "Thomas, did you win the belt?" And it took me a second. I have never in my life talked to her about any of this. And it clicked. After a second, I was like, "Yes." And she goes, and she throws her arms up. She's like, "That's amazing. I can't wait to watch." Unbeknownst to me, she, like, I guess Marissa had mentioned to her offhandedly that I was off on a trivia competition.
Aww.
She Googled and found the Schmoedown. She's now a fan of the Schmoedown, my elderly neighbor, and has she hasn't made it to spectacular yet. She said she wants to watch my other matches, but she was very, very excited. And we're talking to another neighbor today, and she was like, "Oh yeah, Mary's a fan now." She was like, I didn't know that we had a trivia celebrity." And I was like, "You're using that term very, very loosely." But yeah, so Christian, I expect my kickback. I've brought one new viewer to the Schmoedown.
Hey, yeah, that's awesome. That's what this community really is about. I mean, I brought Brian in too. He's one of the few people that I brought in very late, and as long as you impact,
that's because you needed someone to talk to about it.
Well,
I don't know how many people.
I wasn't going to mention that, but
it's true.
I've told so many people on planes about the Schmoedown because like a lot of the times that we travel was because of that, and people would just be like chit-chatting on the plane sitting around us, and they'd be like, "What are you out for?" And I'd be like, "Well, blah blah blah," and like give them the whole spiel, and they're just like,
Well, okay, I have a question. Just a
What? Movie
random
There's
trivia?
nothing more difficult than explaining the Schmoedown.
I was gonna ask a random question here. How does everyone describe what's the pitch to the Schmoedown to a random person? What does everyone say?
It's
Have you met
movie
the
trivia
spirit?
meets wrestling. I
That's
mean,
I say Jeopardy meets wrestling is what I say.
Yeah. I started out the season with this really complicated, long-winded thing, and I've like honed it down. I'm unrepentant now because at this point I'm like, I've invested time, I've invested like blood, sweat, and tears. I'll just call it for what it is. And if you don't agree, if you watch it and don't agree with my opinion, then fine. I'm just like, I'm a professional movie trivia player. I'm a pro movie trivia player.
It's
and a
true.
world champion.
It's true.
And I just leave it at that. And then they're like, cool. And I'm like, you can find it Schmoedown. Just like Google it, go on YouTube and you find it. And, you know, there's theatrics involved. So it's fun. And that seems to have a much better hook. I found myself like checking myself early in the season, like almost like I was inconveniencing people by explaining it.
mhm.
And then I was like, what am I doing this for? No, this is like a legit cool thing. It's a cool community. It's fun. It's unique. People can judge it for themselves, but I'm not gonna like sell it short.
Well, yeah,
I
because
agree.
like if you go in and try to explain it and be like, well, it's this thing, and like people are gonna immediately lose interest and be like, I don't want to hear about this anymore. But if you're just like, I'm a professional movie trivia contestant person with a belt,
Yeah,
they're like, oh, okay.
yeah. I taught a class to the newest group of Army Judge Advocate lieutenants, so folks that are finishing their training, getting ready to go out in the force. And I was like introducing myself, and everybody does like, here's my military background, here's the jobs that I've done, here's what I do now, blah blah blah, like bullet points. And I'm like, you know, yes, I do these things, but I also do this, and I have a whole like slide dedicated to the Schmoedown in this. And so who knows whether any of those folks have caught it, but I'm unrepentant in my like sharing and just calling it for what it is at this point.
Hey, you impacted one person. That's all that matters right now. So
We're
that
gonna have
person
a
will
watch
impact someone
party
else,
with Werther's original and
so getting back to the match, and I wanted to ask kind of one question, but it kind of has two parts. How was it playing Nikki, and how was it playing her in the speed round after seeing what she did in the tournament, especially later on in that tournament after she kind of just destroyed that one specific speed round, even though it was buzzers compared to fast money. You know, how was it finally being able to face her and being the joy that she is in this Star Wars league?
Simultaneously terrifying because I fully expected her to do as well as she did or better, and she delivered on that in spades. But also, it was the closest that I've come to in terms of like recapturing the pure fun that is Dragon Con. And by that I mean people that are just up there to just answer some Star Wars questions and have fun with it. And then on the back end, win or lose, most of the times for all of us lose, go have a drink and just revel in the train wreck that was like getting beat up by these hard questions. It's a massive credit to her. And it started like from the moment that we met in person. She's just like very chill. Her and Andrew are the nicest folks possible, but there wasn't, as competitive as I know she is, there wasn't this mentality of like, no, I can't really talk or interact to you. Like we talked in the green room, like a couple of people came up to us and like, I don't think you guys should be talking, like having fun and smiling before the match. But it really put me at ease. I hope on some level that I put her at ease or that calmed some of the nerves. Certainly her gameplay suggested that there like nerves were non-existent, but it really helped me. And at a time where I had gotten really like into my own head and wrapped around the axle in the lead up, because it was just, you play in August and then there's nothing but a lull. Everybody else is playing and doing well and stuff. And you've got nothing but this looming set of train lights coming towards you. And then you know that Nikki is the conductor of that train. And so the stress level was high at certain points. And I got, real caught up at times in sort of the like raw competitiveness of it. And I don't like that at all. I don't like that, what that brings out in me. And what I saw before the match was like a return to normal. I felt like myself. Not the heel like persona and stuff, but I felt like I was back to just doing something that I really truly enjoyed. And that's why I say whether that match could have easily turned on a couple things, but had things not gone my way, I would have been just centered on the fact that this felt like the fun thing that made me want to get involved again. And that's a total credit to Nikki. The crowd obviously was a massive part of that, but Nikki was like top of the list because she was just a joy to play, but also terrifying. The speed round, other than the character, like from a gameplay standpoint, outside of it being really important for me to deliver on the character aspect, the speed round stuff was the latest in what I feel like a series of things that people have questioned about, not questioned, but like, wondered about my ability and my gameplay. I mean, it was when the season started, it was like, well, how, Star Wars, Dragon Con stuff, but are you going to adapt to the Schmoedown? And I answered the mail on that. Then it was, well, how are you going to, the difficulties ramping up, how are you going to respond to that? Answered the mail on that. The meta is changing. We're getting into these casting questions. It's hobbling some of the greats like Alex and like Gold Leader. How is he going to respond to that? I answered the mail on that. The last and the lingering one was the speed round, because everybody was like, oh, okay, well, the fast money is fast money, but digital is digital. But the buzzers are where champions are made and broken. And Harper likes to think things through. He's got his whiteboard and the whole narrative.
I mean, I said that. I was one of those. I said that.
It's fair. It's totally fair, because nobody has ever seen me there. And in the last impact that you have, the last Star Wars match that is played, is Nikki whipping through that speed round in the tournament. Yeah. So that's your last frame of reference, and that's your only frame of reference for her speed. And I think you saw in the speed round like that was an accurate perception of how fast she is. But I'm telling you, like I worked my tail off at that. It did not come naturally, but I worked my tail off with it. I tried to bring a strategic side of things. Folks like Ross and Saul were really, really instrumental in trying to hone down and break this thing down into a science. It's not about like, let me just like, how fast can my fingers like press this button? Like, if that's how you're playing the speed round, then you're not going to beat me, and you're probably not going to win a speed round. And I'm telling you this right now, I was within a millisecond of going 4-1 in that speed round. That Kef beer question, the moment that the word ocean was said, my brain was like, press the button, and my thumb just didn't press the button. And fair play, Nikki got that question. It was 3-2, but that I was glad to have come out of that ahead. Obviously, that sealed the victory for me. But what I've seen in the wake of this match, where people talking a lot about the bonus round didn't matter, or the bonus question didn't matter as of the end of my round 2.
Yeah,
it was tied up, and it came down to exactly what people expected. And I feel like I delivered on those, or exceeded those expectations, or at least answered the mail on what people thought. And quite frankly, I think that's what people need to take away from this match is, you face me going forward, and you face me in a live setting. You better process that question on like word 3 or word 4 if you're going to beat me on the buzzer. So yeah, that wasn't luck. That wasn't a fluke. And quite frankly, it was real close to being a 4-1 split. Not that would have mattered in the end, because it would have come down to the 5-pointer no matter what. But but fair play. It was well played. I tell you, that first one, I kind of like pumped my fist and whatnot, and it was really important for me to get that first one out of the gate. That was a mental factor. That was sort of like, I'm going to set the tone. I'm going to jump the question, and I'm going to get it right, or I'm going to go down with the ship.
I mean, I will say with that, but I mean, you guys were pretty much even that whole entire thing. And I love the fact that just literally chance, if you will, with the speed round is kind of what decided it. Like, I mean, it's literally just whoever clicks it faster. Because I mean, other than that,
the time it takes for your brain to communicate with your hand to like press the button, that's how quick it happens.
It all has to be perfectly in sync. Because we saw what happened with John with Roka in the speed round where he clicked it, but he was like, "Oh, like what?" And, like he just clicked it off of clicking it.
Yeah.
But before we move on, I do want to bring in our fourth member here on POV. She has arrived. She was able to make it tonight. Miss Jillian Marie is with us.
Hello. Good to see you.
Good. Hello, Thomas. Sorry, I had a bit of a household emergency that I had to take care of. But I'm glad I made
told
it.
everyone that Sean screwed up.
It was not his fault.
I know. We're kidding.
But hello.
Jill, I want to go to you next, but I do just have a kind of off of what we were talking about. Just a simple question here: do you prefer the buzzers or the speed round or the fast money round?
Buzzers, 1,000%.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it too because it's.
I didn't start the season that way, and I was like solidly against the buzzers, but I will die on that hill now. Buzzers are where it's at.
So, Dragon Con next year, buzzers.
I think if you knew Daniel, like if I suggested something like that, he would see the value in it. Like he wouldn't think it was just like the most idiotic thing that he had ever heard. But I might as well have like clown paint on suggesting something.
Yeah. He would be like, sit down. This is my show.
You just work here. I run this.
I love for the half second, Molly, like you were like gonna drink and you heard Dragon Con and buzzers and you're just like, no.
She was like,
Don't you bring that evil into that?
This past year at Dragon Con, Daniel was like, I think I made this too hard. So buzzers are a long ways away.
Yeah, nobody be buzzing in. You just be sitting.
They just be sitting there.
Yeah. It'd be like that Marisol and Griffey Nooms question where it took them like 10 minutes to.
Yeah.
We have about 10 minutes left. So Jill, do you have anything for Thomas that you would like to ask him?
I do, and I don't know if we've already talked about it because I've been in 5 p.m. Orange County.
Pretty much
traffic.
Buzzers is what we've talked
buzzers.
about.
Okay, so I don't know if you can talk about this yet, but I'm going to ask it anyway. When you did your speech at the end of your win,
thank you.
I turned to like the entire crew and I went, "We love a good heel turn," and I was so stoked about it. So, if you are able, can you talk to us about how excited, how intrigued you are about stepping into that heel role?
I like it. I have a particular brand on it. I told when this was discussed and the move was sort of set in motion, I said I will not be mean or direct shots at another player. Like that's not going to be like I'm not going to be. Chandru does it amazingly, and he doesn't like. I think if you know him, you know full well that none of that is intended as a personal shot. But like that's
you're not going to be gold leader essentially, right?
I will. Well, he's the exception. Right? He's like a cardboard cutout cartoon of a human being. So that's. But he delivers it equally. I feel like we're like brothers from another mother. But I also thought that's a space that is occupied right now by people that do it probably better than I can, and that's just not me. And like I'm not going to play something that's going to take me like out of my own headspace, but I can be a drill sergeant. I can be I can get at the audience. I can not in a mean way, but in like
intimidating.
Yeah, you guys you haven't seen me before. You haven't interacted with me before, and I heard you at all points. In fact, I almost like leaned into the mic, like, you can clap after I get a question right too.
That would have been solid.
I didn't want to disrupt the flow.
Welcome to being a heel.
Yeah, you're allowed to do that, Thomas. You can do that. That would have been great.
So yeah, but I think the setting things up with and planning the big obvious seed with the Pledge of Allegiance at the start.
That was fun too.
Kate and I had come up with that, and then at the end, it just natural. And this is why I said you couldn't have scripted it well, because the crowd was so far behind Nikki, and for very good reasons, that it just naturally set me up to make that speech. And like in reality, there were people cheering both ways. Up on stage, you could only hear all the cheers for her, and so it was just perfect. Because in the moment, I was like, no, just slip into this role and just like lean into this drill sergeant aspect and lock these folks up. So yeah, that's fun, and I'm excited for where it goes.
It was great. You killed it. It was
Thanks.
chef's kiss.
Looking back on the year, do you think you could have or would want to have ever played with anyone other than Kate?
No. And that goes down to, I told her this the other day after I got back and we kind of did a download. I said, this season could have been a complete flaming wreck, and the success out of all of it would have been the pure happenstance that we ended up together, because we didn't talk before the draft. There were no interviews, not like swag where I sat down and did a combine with practice questions. Full metal. I like that. Full metal major.
Full metal major.
I like that.
Jot that down.
But there was not that connection beforehand. But we are, we're both of us have 2 kids. Like, she just gets where I'm coming from, and really, really quickly picked up on what I need and what I don't need as a player. And the 2 of us just mesh really well together in that aspect. Even like on site there, she had just this keen sense of exactly what would be helpful for me in the moment, and knew. We did a practice session. Was this like Thursday night? And there was a question. I jumped the buzzer on a question and got like angry about it. I was just like, I got it wrong. It was like swing and a miss, and then the ball bounces back and hits you in the head, like kind of.
Oh no!
And she goes like, why don't we'll do like 3 more questions, and then we're calling it. Like, she had that sense that like this was not productive, and I like. She's getting like heading back. I pulled her aside. I was like, that was exactly what I needed. She was like, I know you at this point, and like I can tell.
That's awesome.
And so yeah, that was sort of an encapsulating moment. But yeah, she's perfect as the exact kind of manager that I need, and the kind of person that understands that if you call me and I don't pick up, it's not because I'm being a flake. It's probably because I'm like coloring chalk on the sidewalk, or like wearing a tutu or something. Yeah. I got princesses to play.
Speaking of Kate, and I don't think anybody's talked about this, but were there consequences for her breaking your Y-wing?
Oh no!
I forgot about that.
Everyone gasped upstairs at the Y-wing breaking. Like, we're like, oh my god,
no!
She was really upset. I leaned. You can tell there's like a moment where I lean into her, and she's like, "I'm so sorry," and I was like, "That cost $700." And I was like, "No, I'm kidding." A micro machine. I was like, "You pop it right back on."
These 2 faces in a heartbeat. You said that they freaked out.
I believe stupid things. Huh?
Not even a real Y-wing would cost that much, Thomas.
How dare you?
I'm out. Goodbye.
Speaking of, what did you think of Alex and Molly's sign at their booth?
Molly's got a video of what happened to that sign. So
I need to post that.
My knee told the best story to just like snapping it in half. But there was a moment while they were debating their challenge and kind of deciding whether they were going to do that. I actually asked her to pull it out of the little case, because I was just going to like zoom it around, like fly it around them. I was like, I know what I'm going to say to this challenge, and I know it's not going to be successful, but like, might as well have fun while they're deciding what they're going to do. And she was like, it's in pieces. I was like, oh,
it's in pieces. Oh no.
Just like my heart.
Oh no.
Well, crew, any final questions or comments for the major himself before we let him get out of here?
Congratulations. It was lovely meeting you, like actually in real life person.
Yeah.
Like,
you're tall.
You're a sweetheart. You were an absolute peach.
There's so many tall people in the Schmoedown.
There's a lot of tall people in the
There are a lot of tall people.
I spent all my time looking up. Yeah.
Yeah, no, big congratulations. You're going. I mean, you're an undefeated champion going into next season. I'm sure it's going to be tough. Questions, players, the way it's all kind of set up with the way that Christian is setting things up for season 9. But I'm sure you're just as excited as we are, and everything that's going forward for the Den and the change that's happening there, and just big fat congratulations on everything that you successfully did this year, man. It's pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. It was great meeting all of you, getting to hang out and realize, and I think I got 3 questions right the entire rest of the night.
That's how we felt.
But
Yeah.
it was very humbling. You come from a high and then you just even it out with a real low. But
Yeah.
no, it was great seeing everybody.
Well, Thomas, we hope you have a great off season.
Thank you.
Hope it's enjoyable, nice little break, and we'll catch you here soon in season 9, man. We'll be talking soon. So
Catch y'all soon.
yeah, have a good night. Thank you
Take
again.
care.
Thank you.
Hi, Jill.
Hi. Hello. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah. Sorry. Chaos. I missed our very festive little banner. I forgot that this existed. But
Yeah,
I know
I made a
you
new
do.
one for this year because look at the stockings.
I was gonna say the stockings are new. These are new. The Grogu is. I remember the Grogu. That's why I was like, oh, we had this. I remember. But
Yeah.
these are new. I like
Molly
these.
is now set in that corner for the rest of the month.
She's right there. She's not going anywhere. I'm gonna fix this light bulb right here.
I appreciate
a
you
couple-
having him hold a little blue orb that kind of looks like his little macaroon.
Yeah,
It's a little macaron.
It's
Or-
like a macaroon / ornament is what.
or
it is.
those eggs that he kept eating.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
that's
true.
Oh, I have.
That's just
So,
sad. That's
right,
just-
Silvestrini gave me these little guys for my birthday, and he's getting his little eggs.
Oh,
Look at him.
How
why do you look so
precious.
sad?
Because he's
No,
like,
he's
his tongue's
determined.
sticking
He's
to
got
it.
his
He's like,
tongue.
Man, I got
he's
it.
determined.
Yeah,
He's
he's
trying to
doing
get his
this.
little.
I do
his
the same
little
face when I
eggs.
try to grab something. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Sean, she gave me 2 of them. The other one is him hiding underneath Din Djarin's helmet, and Sean stole it from me.
Oh.
So
Of course.
that's currently in his
Um,
office right now. So
Okay, so real quick, because before Brennan gets here, which he'll get here in about 10 minutes or so, I want to talk about this match, the Star Wars match, because we haven't really gotten to talk about it. But I do want to read these Streamlabs that have been sitting here real quick. So the first one comes from Kyle Beckworth, who is one of our beautiful patrons. And he says, hope you all had a nice, relaxing week. I had so much fun at Spectacular. The highlight of the trip was the rooftop meetup.
Oh,
Meeting
so
all
fun.
of the View crew was amazing. Thank you, Rachel. Looking forward to seeing everyone again at Star Wars Celebration. Yeah, that was probably my favorite thing we did.
That was so fun.
yeah, that was
meeting
awesome.
everyone who supported us, and kind of like we see in the chat every single day. Curtis, Rachel, Chuck, Andy, everyone
Randy.
that's involved. I could keep naming them all,
Curtis.
but
Jane.
Could have been a few degrees warmer.
It was a little chilly.
We were
Otherwise,
14 stories high, so
yeah.
Would've been
Otherwise, it was
cool.
perfect.
I
and-
heard a certain someone ended up in the pool later.
What?
that
yeah,
night.
Chuck, can you confirm or deny you
Can you
ended in
confirm
the
or deny
pool?
you ended up in the pool?
'Cause I heard
Chuck ended
that-
up in the pool.
I heard
We
that.
heard
That's
that
what we
Chuck
heard.
ended up in the pool.
I heard.
Wow.
So
That's
All
the
right.
tea.
that's
All right.
the tea.
That's
the tea.
It was spring weather. Oh, hey, Sully. How's your car, bud? Oh, sorry.
Oh, hi,
Hi.
Sean.
Too soon. Yes, no, I mean, look, we talked about it, but Kyle is the one who gifted us those incredible gift cards.
Which we used. Like,
Which we
and
immediately
we
were
used
like,
them
we
immediately
used the
used.
next night for happy hour.
we did.
Which
We
was
fed the
perfect.
entire POV house with Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And okay, so the next Streamlabs, I'm actually going to save for a later match because it actually has discussion about the Finstock exchange. I'll save that for one of the Griffin News match.
Also, Rachel, the food.
Yeah, I
Oh
mean,
my God.
Rachel
Food was
Rachel
so
went
great.
all out.
Rachel killed it.
We literally have the best mod on the planet. She is incredible. What she
Mod
did,
Squad.
the mod squad. You guys saw the photo. The
So
mod squad. is incredible.
I wanna say this on record. I said it in the Discord, but for anyone who saw those amazingly gorgeous Mod Squad windbreaker jackets,
The bomber
Christian
jackets.
Harloff literally pulled me aside during the expo and said, "Did you see those jackets? That is the coolest effing thing I've ever seen." So
We are so lucky.
He was
The
super
audible
jealous.
gasps from the 4 of us when you
When I
walked up.
freaked out when I saw that. I
Me
couldn't
too.
so
believe it.
good.
I could not
so
believe it.
freaking
I'm also
good.
not surprised that the 3 of them pulled that off. Like,
No, not at all.
Oh,
no.
It was amazing. It
So
was
good.
awesome. I had no clue.
Okay,
Hi,
so
Pajukin.
real quick, PJ was there too. That's right. Okay, so for the next 5-10 minutes, so I want to talk about the Star Wars match just between the 4 of us because we haven't really got to talk about it and decompress over what happened. We talked a little bit about Thomas, but just overall our thoughts, the impact of it going into next year, how both of them played. Jill, since you got here a little late, why don't you start us off? What did you think of the Star Wars match?
I what's funny is I think one of my favorite because Star Wars matches just stress me out because I don't know what's happening half the
Yeah.
time because I don't know how you guys keep this information in your brains. I'll never understand it. So
Well, not all of us do. That's why there are losers.
yeah.
A bunch of psychopaths. That's
A
all.
bunch of
that you guys
psychopaths. My personal favorite thing about this match was kind of a behind the scenes thing, and in the balcony we had every single Star Wars player who was not competing for the championship huddled together at one little table, and I was watching them
You're like
answering the
was-
questions.
This is
It
the
was the
coolest. This is
nerdiest
the
thing.
coolest photo I took all weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was Zach
And
and,
that's not
Sean
even all
and
of
Alex and Molly and
There,
like
that's in between a question. While they're trying to answer it, the three of them are just talking.
and
about
Hoey and
I hate that picture because it's literally just my stomach on the left hand side.
it. Oh my god! Stop.
but that was really cool for me to see. But yeah, I mean, I think we got kind of what we expected out of these two competitors, where it really came down to one question, kind
Yeah,
of,
it was-
sort of.
I mean, the bonus didn't even matter. It was the speed round. The
Yeah,
one.
after round 2, it was tied, which
Yeah.
it left. So it was zeros, and because Thomas had one more speed round question, he
Yeah.
won.
That like and I think that's what we expected from these two players, because they are, as I lovingly call my Star Wars competitors, psychopaths. They know
Full blown
They-
psychopaths.
they know their Star Wars, and they displayed that crazy freaking knowledge. And I really like how both Sam and Kate also got really into it. Like Sam was doing what Sam does and be like, yo, shut the F up so my competitor can hear these questions. He was doing what Sam does. And then Kate was over there with her fanny pack and breaking Y-wings. You know, that's what Kate does. So it was a really fun yet stressful match, but it was like I loved every second of it though. It was quintessential prime Star Wars championship match that you expect to see at a spectacular.
I love that the questions were so hard that I never knew if the answer was right.
Me neither. That's
And
why I just
so-
watched these guys over here. And
Yeah.
I was like, I'll see if they know.
So
it's very rare for both Alex and I to witness something Star Wars trivia related and not know more than a couple, like one or two answers. Like there were more than a couple that we were just like, I have a guess, but I don't know off the top of my head. So that is always a treat for us and for me. But this match at Spectacular was the biggest, the hardest Star Wars match, like live Spectacular match yet for Star Wars. Like this is going to be.
remember
hard
when people used to
top.
have fun doing the Star Wars division? Not anymore.
Those two do. Those two have fun. That's why
Well,
they're
it's funny
crazy.
that you mentioned that, Brian, because Thomas literally said, he goes, it was the most fun match I played all year. And I go,
Like,
Yeah.
bro, they were speaking gibberish half the time. Like, what?
Say it with me.
I think I know Star Wars until I watch
Psychopaths.
these freaking matches.
Yeah.
I
I
know
will-
nothing.
I will say though that the match I think does have a certain importance, because it's almost like it almost is putting the Star Wars division in like a different section of what it used to be, right? Like it's the match of saying like, okay, well, we're in the thick of it now. Like this is what it's going to be like going forward, right? The beginning of the year was a lot different. We were still kind of in the beginning stages of what it was really going to become. But now, after this match and even the tournament, we now know what a new Star Wars division looks like. And this is kind of like the culmination of it all and what we can expect to see going forward. 'Cause I
Thanks.
think-
Now I'm terrified.
Yeah. Have fun, you nerds, because it's
Sorry, Molly.
Have fun, you nerds.
Well, it's
No.
interesting to me because I don't know what the future looks like for the FCL, just because I mean I don't know that anyone really does right now, but I'm interested to see if this is the direction that the Star Wars division is going in the Schmoedown. I wonder if more people might be interested in checking out the Star Wars FCL matches, because they might be like a little bit easier to play along to, and you know, myself included.
I can answer FCL
It's like that
questions.
gif, like-
I know what's happening there.
It's like that gift. I'm gonna go over here for a minute. And just
You know what's gonna suck at the end of next year? The FCL Championship Series is gonna feel like this match, and everyone's gonna be like, "Well, I have nowhere to go now.
Yeah.
Now what? Now what do I do?
I have nowhere to go now." So
Bunch of psychopaths.
overall, though, I think it's definitely one of the best Star Wars matches we've seen. I mean, Nikki just missed the bonus, just the
That's
bonus.
it.
That's all that decided this match, essentially. Well, obviously the speed round is what ultimately decided it, but if she would have gotten that right, we would have gone into overtime, and then we would have probably seen what the IG match had with that match and that craziness, which we will get.
We can't take anymore.
We will get to that. But yeah, an incredible match. And Thomas is walking away as an undefeated rookie going into 2022, which is
It's nuts.
yeah.
And like what you said about the managers being so like zeroed in the whole time and just like focused, they had to be, because it would have come down to like one question.
Mhm.
And so they had to be on point, which they were. But yeah, so
Molly,
much
I
fun
just
to
hope-
watch.
I just hope we get the storyline of no one can beat Thomas, and then that crazy psychopathic 12-year-old that knows everything about Star Wars comes in,
He's
and he
like,
just starts destroying on his way to Thomas, and it's just like, go 12-year-old, kick his ass.
he's in college now, which is crazy to me.
Oh,
because,
I thought he
when
was
we-
like a
Well,
Yeah,
when we
12-year-old.
first started doing Dragon Con trivia, he was young, so now we just know him as that young kid who runs this insane
itty-bitty
trivia.
baby.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm absolutely gonna take video of Thomas getting destroyed in Dragon Con trivia and just be like, haha, it happens.
What a
Here it is.
loser.
But,
okay,
I mean,
so
he'll probably win that too. I don't know.
Tim, Brennan, and Richard, I will get to your Streamlabs. Have them waiting in the wing, but I want to get to our next guest because he is here. There's been a lot of conversation over the last year about this team and if they have the GOAT status, if they don't have the GOAT status. It's a conversation we can have now with one half of that team. Part of Shazam for the Quirky Mercs, the reigning defending champion himself, Mr. Brendan Meyer. What's up?
Hey, what's up?
Hi,
How's it
Brendan.
going?
Welcome back. Good to
Thanks
see
for
you,
having me
man.
on, guys.
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
Yes,
perfect.
you're
perfect.
All right, excellent. All right.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, of course, man.
Everything safe travels back from LA and everything. You good?
I'm good. No, I'm still in LA. I'm staying in
okay.
LA for the Christmas. Yeah, my family in Canada is going to come to me. So yeah,
Nice.
it's great. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, before we get to the championship side of all this and the match, how was your experience at Spectacular? First time in 2 years since we've had a legit live event outside of New York. How was it being back in front of the crowds and the stage and all that?
Yeah, it was awesome, man. It was so fun. It was so great to see everybody that I didn't get to see like at the New York event or any of the like Cantina tapings or anything like that. Yeah, it was so fun. I just and to get to be in that building again was cool because that's where we had the free for all way back when. Where
That's where it all
you know,
started with
yeah,
you.
that's
Huh?
where it all started for me. So that was kind of eerie to be back in those rooms. That was really wild. Actually, Bibbs and I just went and waited where we waited to walk on first for the free for all way back then at a certain point. So that was we pretty much knew where to wait. We're like, we'll just go here and hang out before the match. Yeah, it was so great to see everybody. And it was actually kind of fun that our match wound up being first because there wasn't a single match that I kind of didn't get to watch as a fan. I was able to actually watch all of them, which was fun. Because
Nice.
if it had been the third match or something like else, I'm sure there would have been at least one, if not more, that I would have had to be off somewhere studying or doing something.
In the corner.
No, that's pretty cool.
That's right.
Brian, I'll let you start this one off, man. You got a question for the kid?
Well, you kind of started to answer my question. I was going to say, I mean, we usually typically have singles and teams last. How was it starting just right off the bat, getting it, being done with it, and just you get to actually enjoy Spectacular this time?
Yeah, it was actually great to be able to do that. And, because it's such a big event, we got to be there early. Everyone who's playing has to be there really. I mean, really everyone in general, but really everyone has to play, had to be there pretty early that day. So that was kind of nice because if I've got to be up pretty early, I'm not going to I don't usually get a good sleep the night before the matches just because it takes a minute to sort of wind down at the end of the day and sort of trick yourself into falling asleep that there's nothing going on tomorrow and that, just enjoy your rest. So I had to get up early. So having to get up that early, 12:30 is a good time to play, which was about when it started at 12:30, 1 o'clock. So that was kind of nice because I feel like if it had been later, if I'd had to have that kind of sleep and then play at like 5 or 4 or something like that, I might have been hitting that like afternoon dip. So that was nice. So yeah, I actually was pretty happy. I think we found out a few days before that was going to be the case. And I was actually pretty happy about it. I was like, that's good. I'd rather just, once I'm there, just go for it. I mean, you have a little bit less time to sort of, I guess, prepare and take a look at the wheel and stuff like that. But,
Jill?
Yes. First of all, because Bibbs is the one who brought it up, congratulations on winning your first spectacular.
Yay!
Right.
The curse
right.
is broken.
The curse has been broken.
That is nice. That is nice.
I'm gonna jump right into it. First of all, do you feel that Shazam is the GOAT of the teams division?
Duh.
I want to know your feelings on that. And
He's
what
too nice to say something like
I,
that.
Brendan,
We're
I love
asking the
you.
hard questions.
I love you and you're a peach, but I want you to be brutally honest with me. And what do you have to say to the naysayers who still are going, well, actually, meh, 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 meh.
Oh, Jill.
Look,
hello. Hi.
I think that is sort of the question is that I feel now, especially after this, that we're right up there, one of the best, I mean, we never played the other teams that other people say are the best and stuff, but I think where we're at now, which I think is great, is that you can't actually talk about the best team in the teams division without explaining why it isn't us. And I don't mean that in that it's not us. I mean that in terms of like, I think we've gotten to that zone and I feel like it's the same. Whereas I think we're still in a zone where when you say, Shazam is the best team, someone might go, well, what about Patriots? Well, what about Shire Wolves? And I think now we're at the point where, you can't say, well, it's Patriots without someone going, hey, what about Shazam? Come on, man. I think we're finally in that zone. And I think we deserve to be in that zone where, no discussion of that can kind of be had. But yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to lie. I think that the case is super strong. 3 defenses. And, I certainly don't quibble with anybody who feels we're the best team of all time. And again, I think there are still some arguments you can make for the other teams, but we'll see.
GOAT.
That was the most civil. That was the most civil answer, and yeah, that's about.
He tried to work his way around it so good, but it's just like come on, come on.
Look, at the end of the day, I feel the 13 wins is the thing. I think we have the most wins, but but I mean, about GOAT and all this different stuff. I mean, it's the best. I mean, I do feel like now what we've achieved is the benchmark for other teams. Like, can you get to that many wins? Yeah. Can you sort of, but sometimes it's just lightning in a bottle. Sometimes what a team does, like, I don't think another team.
I see what you did there.
No, but like, it's like sometimes you just are like, I mean, do I think that if as the Schmoedown continues to grow, another team could have a shot to get more than 13 wins? Absolutely. But I think, to have a 13-2 record, I don't think any team will ever do that. I think it's just one of those things that, it's not necessarily because we're way better than everyone else, but because
you are. Just say it. Just say you're way better.
No, it's so funny. I was talking to someone about this. I was talking to someone about this the other day, and it's so funny because, I feel like I'm always going to come down just a little bit lower on our team than other people will, because I have so much more knowledge of like the small margins. People watch a match and they go, well, they won this one, they won this one, they won this one, they won this one. They'll probably just win all these matches. And I always say, well, I'm the one that showed up that day. I know exactly the 2 slices that if we spin that in any match we play, if we just spin that slice, we probably lose, or it's really close, right? Like you all, or I know in the matches like the corruption match where you go to sudden death, or matches where, 1 point was the difference between us answering a 5-pointer or not to win. I know how close I was to, writing a different answer, or I know that, if we played this match 2 months ago, I wouldn't have known that, or like all this different stuff, that is the separation. So, as much as I'm super proud of the record and I feel like it's amazing, and I'm proud to say that we're an amazing team, and I'm proud of the accomplishments, and no one's done what we've done. I'm always going to feel like, there's a lot of people that there's a lot of people that are going to do that. And look, I'm very, like I said, I'm not going to argue with anyone who says that. And I feel more, especially after finishing off the year, I feel like, maybe we are, I really do feel that after finishing off the year. I mean,
what else can you guys do?
Yeah, like,
honestly,
no. And that's the thing. I don't think we can do anything else. I think it's just, other people have their favorites or have things that they like. And look, I mean,
well, they're wrong.
Will we get to 6 defenses? I guess we have a shot. I mean, I won't even think about that until we win the next one, and we're 2 away. But even then, I mean, it's maybe we won't get to that. I don't think we have to get to that to be the greatest team of all time. But if someone wants to use that as the thing, that's fine.
I don't think so either. Molly, you got anything?
So we were talking a little bit earlier about just like the sheer difficulty of the Star Wars questions, and I'm
Mhm.
curious because I don't have a way to gauge that in
Mhm.
singles really, and in teams.
Right.
What do you think about the difficulty of the questions that the teams matches have been getting this season?
It's really interesting, and it's tough to give a straight answer to this too because it's so subjective. It's tough to know, what that is. But I think they've been getting very, very difficult. And I think that I think what's great about the teams league though is that, and Star Wars is this way too, but Star Wars is so tricky because you've got this sort of thing. But it's like anything. The question difficulty can be incredibly. Teams is interesting too because both people have to carry the load. So it doesn't matter if it's the easiest match of the year question wise or the hardest match of the year question wise. You still have to know more than the other person, right? So it doesn't matter if the round one is so easy objectively, and you feel that way as a player, that if you miss one, you're in trouble. Like I would say, like some of the questions we got in the Otter Couple match where we went perfect were a little bit easier than some of the other matches we played, but we got them all, and so then it became the margin of error. Can you be the person to not miss one? Whereas, when we played Lightning Time, everybody missed questions, and, you had to make sure you missed the least, and, you had to minimize your sort of, so it's hard to say on any given day because, you walk off. I mean, I've had that happen many times where I've said to another competitor, like, well, pulled a hard 5, and they're like, I don't know, but that was pretty easy, man. And I was like, what are you talking about? That was really hard, And then other times, I'll be in a match and I'll get it right, and my opponent will get it right, and I'll think nothing of it, and I'll be talking to people at the bar afterwards, and like can't find a lot of people that knew it, and you'll go, oh, that's really crazy that like I didn't even think of that as a hard question. I knew it within 1 second, and then my partner knew it too, or my opponent knew it too, and so I never thought about the question again. And then and then you realize it was actually a good poll.
Yeah.
I never know the
But, yeah.
answer.
I don't either.
That's like me. I mean, it's hard, but that's kind of the fun of it, is that you never know, and you have to sort of, and that's why I love teams so much, is that it continually flows in and out of both teammates having to deliver, and you being able to work together, and it it's always kind of a different thing. It's like Bibbs knew the betting round question. I didn't. He was the only one up there. But I knew the betting round question against Lightning Time, and I think I was the only one that really had that title right as well. So, you give and take.
Mhm.
I wanted to ask, because I know that we were actually talking after the match. Oh my goodness. Sorry. We were actually talking after the match, and you were talking specifically about your round one, and how you didn't have the best of round ones.
Yeah.
How was
My worst
your
one
mindset?
ever.
How was your mindset after that? Were you able to kind of clear that and just, you're now working with Bibbs going forward, or in the back of your mind, were you like, oh, like that wasn't what I was hoping for?
Yeah. Well, again, it's interesting the way these things happen, because I was disappointed early on, when I missed a couple. That was disappointing. And so that was tough, but then, it's kind of sometimes how you finish, right? And Bibbs and I both getting the last question when they both missed, and flipping, what was looking like the first time we were ever going to trail after round one. I remember people talk about that a lot. Sometimes like, they never trailed after round one. And I know that internally, and I've always thought that's a cool thing to keep going. It's not success. It doesn't always mean you're going to win, but it's a fun record to have. Midway through that round, I'm like, well, this is it. I mean, and before every match, I say to Bibbs, I go, and maybe I manifested it, but I said this after the other matches too, so I didn't. But I say to Bibbs, I'm like, look, even if one of us has a bad round and we're losing by a couple, we were winning the 2 matches we lost. Like, people win 5-round matches all the time, losing after round one. So if and when that day comes that we step up to round one and we don't have the lead, who cares? Like, we're still going to have a good chance to win,
Yeah.
And so midway through that round, I was starting to think like, well, this is going to be the one. We might be down by it wasn't going to be a lot because Bibbs was hanging in there, but I thought, and I wasn't that far behind Con either, but I thought, it's like, we might be down by 1 or 2 here, and we're just going to have to push through it. And so to be able to pull, Wesley Snipes and kind of flip it, kind of changed my energy going into the round, because even though I was like, wow, it could have bbeen more if I could have gotten 1 or 2 of those. We're still kind of in a position, we're still winning. We're still up by 1, which is a position we're used to being in. Now we can have them go first, and the match can still operate the way that we normally want it to operate. And, things have changed over the years as I feel like I've grown in confidence in the league and in my own abilities, and I've had great matches where I did the best in round one. But I remember my mindset in the early days was always just, well, Bibbs is the best player, and I just have to make sure that I do as well, or hopefully 1 point better, but at the very least as well as whoever the second player is for their team. And if Bibbs can get 1 more point than the best player for their team, then we'll have the lead every time, and that was always the goal, I'm always in round 1, only just trying to make sure that I stay with one person, because usually Bibbs is one of the most consistent round 1 players in the game's history. So it was funny. It was a bit of a throwback to the old days of me sort of scrapping it out there and trying to make sure I kept us in it, and him kind of being the only one to go perfect, which is how we had the lead in a lot of our early matches.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
Jill, do you got anything else?
I'm just so thrilled for you guys for finally getting that win at Spectacular, because I feel like for like we talked about with my question, I feel like for a lot of people that was kind of the end all be all for you guys was, well, they haven't won a Spectacular, and so now you can hoist your middle finger at those guys and be like, suck it,
Oh yeah, he's gonna hoist his middle finger at him.
Not that he'll do that. I'll do that for him. I'll be like, suck it, they won.
No, look, and I mean, I hesitate to just come on and say, oh, we're the greatest, because anytime you say that, now you're waiting for, if something goes wrong next season, all of a sudden you've opened yourself up. But
we'll say
I'm very proud.
Brendan,
I'm very proud of the things that we've done. It's not false. I mean, when we talk about, Spectacular was kind of the final thing.
To be fair,
it's
what is that supposed to mean?
Wait, what?
Oh God,
Sean came in.
That I can call him the GOAT until they've won.
Sean, apparently you have to win a match in another country other than America to be considered the GOAT, according to Sean
What are you
Sullivan.
talking? I won a bunch of matches while I was in Canada. What is he saying?
Canada when he won a bunch of matches.
I will say, I've never won the belt in Canada, which is actually kind of a funny. Both times we won the belts where I was in the other room over there here in LA, and then the defenses were still in person. But yes, but no, we won 3 teams matches in Canada. So.
Yeah, Sean. Jeez.
Yeah. That's right. That's
digital,
right.
Sean.
Yeah.
It's the digital era. You can
yeah, exactly. The London England live event. We'll have to face England's greatest trivia champions. We have to find them.
Yes.
No, it's great. I mean, it was interesting because, and it's probably a good thing is that even though we kept getting higher and higher and beyond what I thought, it did always feel like people were continually asking questions of like, well, can you do this? And can you do this? And well, you haven't done this. And so that's good though, because that fuels you, and even when you're sitting there and you have more wins than anyone in the division at 11, all of a sudden you're like, oh, but well, we have to win another one because, defending twice is and if we don't win it spectacular. And that stuff is actually great. You want to use that stuff as fuel because that's how, that's frankly how, great sport people succeed and continue and get into GOAT status, right? That's how you see the great tennis players, is that they win more than they ever expected, or maybe they expected to, but they win more than most people ever do. And they're still like, well, I have to win this one. I have to win this one. And even though that's not really the way I operate in my heart, I love using that in my head, because I'm like, well, if I use this as, you have to, because it's so easy to walk into Spectacular. You got 12 wins, defended twice this year, and just be like, what do we really need this to? And it's great to go in with the mindset of like, well, no, we've never won it, but we need to win this one. You always want to have that little chip on your shoulder, that little underdog, that fire, because that helps you play well. That's how you, and you'll see it with these people next year. I mean, that's what's interesting about the league is every person in every division had an undefeated season this year where they won every match. It's crazy to think about, but every person. And so that's going to be the thing that's going to propel these people, like a guy like Thomas Harper, who came in and he's like, well, I need to prove, and I think I saw a little bit of what he was talking about in the show earlier about how he's answering the mail on all this different stuff. And so it's on him now to, he's got to come up with the next question so that he does take that extra. He does get up that hour earlier in the morning. I mean, it's different in some of these Star Wars and IG things, because as soon as you start, that's why I think the IG belt was so hard to defend for so long is that it's hard when you are putting everything into it. Then you have to keep putting everything into it because there's some hungry person who hasn't won it yet. And so it's like, it's so hard. So that's kind of the energy that we have to continue. But regardless, the Spectacular thing was so big just because it was so nice. 2 years in a row, with that team, I've come to that final match. And if we just win it, we're champions at the end of the year. We never lost all year. And you kind of get to push your feet up a bit at the end of the year and go like, man, I put a lot into Schmoedown this year, and now I have the belt, and I
Yay.
but both years that was kind of like yanked away at the last minute.
Oh,
It was
no.
like, actually, no, you got TKO'd. Actually, no, you blew a 6-point lead. Both years, even though I was really proud, and then every year we've done something great. We won the teams tournament, we won the belts, but both times it was sort of like, yanked out, and it was fun. I mean, I joked with someone the night before. I think we were at your thing, Jill. I was like, well, it can't happen a third time. We got to. Come on,
This can't keep happening.
Yeah, come on. Well, what I really said though, which is funny, is I said, the idea of losing 3 times at Spectacular to me seems impossible, but winning all the other ones also seems impossible. So maybe that's our curse,
There you
But
go.
yeah, to be able to come back there and win there, and that's kind of the one setting that we hadn't really done yet, is win in front of that big a crowd. We won at Collision, which was like fun because that was like the old studio tapings with like a group of like 30 or 40 people involved in the community and stuff. And that's always fun because that's the way I started, was coming to the tapings. But yeah, to win, I mean, whether it's the GOAT team or not, we've done pretty, like the whole list is pretty much checked off for me. We'll see. I mean, if we win a couple more and we can go for the 6 defenses, I guess that'll be the next thing. But
Nice.
even if that doesn't happen, I don't think that's
Gonna
something
happen,
I'm gonna
Brendan.
lose. I'm not gonna
It's
lose.
gonna
I'm not gonna lose. I'm not gonna
It's
lose sleep over that.
gonna
I'm
happen.
genuinely
Knock
not.
on
I'm not.
wood.
Manifestation, it's gonna
That's right.
happen.
That's right. That's right. Well, we'll see. There's a lot of great teams. I mean, I think the way I always feel before these matches is just, I won't be that bummed if we lose, because I'm always ready to be happy to hand the belts to another person that I respect and another person who loves movies. It's only that I know, when the next match comes around and people are like, who's going to get that, you're not in it, that I'll be like, oh, well, it would have been fun to still be in, it would have been fun to be in that next match, So, so that's always what I'm looking forward to, is that next year.
You're not handing those belts off to anyone.
Jake and I are like, you
Jake
are
is like,
so
no,
Canadian.
it's not
You're not doing
happening.
it.
Slow down.
You're
Not
not doing it.
happening.
I wanted to ask, because he was such an anomaly this year, and that he is a fellow actor. What did you think of the whole Griffey Nooms movement that happened this year?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing, man. I've been hearing about him for a couple of years, just because Paul Oyama's a big fan of Blank Check, and so are a couple of other people. So I've sort of like heard about, but I only started listening to the show this year, and I love the show. So I kind of got excited, as he started to become more involved, because I was certainly a late adopter to the thing. But by the time he was winning matches, I was like, oh yeah, I love Blank Check. And it's like a total fake fan. And like, people like Alex and like all these people have been listening for years. And I'm just like, oh yeah, I like Blank Check. They're like, come on, man. You've been listening for like 2 months. But no, it was awesome to see someone come in. This is what I hope continues to happen as the Schmoedown continues to grow, is that they can find these new people, whether it's Griffin or whether it's Josh Horowitz or Khan, or these people that they keep finding these people, because listening to the podcast, Griffin had done a lot of different movie trivia things before, nothing quite what is the Schmoedown, but like a lot of like really competitive movie trivia things, and had succeeded. And so like the fact that they keep finding, like they need to just keep finding these people who, it's almost like finding a Dragon Con player who's good at Star Wars over here and then goes, can I be good at Star Wars here, and actually buys in. And anytime they can find anybody like that, especially someone who's such a great performer like Griffin was, and was so funny and was able to bring out a lot outside of it, is really exciting for the show. So it was really fun to see him go all the way. And, when he won both tournaments, I was like, oh my God, like, is he just about to, but it's so hard to put it all together. I mean, the night that Griffin and Khan had is very similar to the night that Bibbs and I had, 2 years ago, where, I was talking to Khan after the match. I said, I know exactly how you feel, because 2 years ago, I was like, maybe we're going to win the team's belt. Maybe my partner will win the singles belt. And at the end of the event, we'll have all the belts and it'll be super fun. And then it was like, absolutely not what happened. You know what I mean? And, it was like, well, that was a bummer, and, you just have to kind of, you just kind of have to keep going. You just kind of have to get back on it. So I hope we see Griffin back next year. And I mean, he to me is one of these sort of inevitable players that, if you just decide, probably even one more year, I mean, he'll win. I mean, it's all there, and it's just kind of if he wants to try again, because that's pretty much all it'll take. I think. I don't even think there's that much. I don't think like he's missing something. I think it's just sometimes it takes a little bit longer.
Yeah.
For some people.
Yeah.
Griffin, if you're
It's
watching
not
this, I'd love
everyone.
to talk to you on the show, man.
Yeah.
If you're watching this.
Come on, Griffey.
Well, crew, any final questions for Brendan before we?
Yeah. How is it having Koi's energy, and you guys seem to just kind of be so like, okay, like And I apologize because we fed him so much sugar before.
He kept coming over to our booth and like would grab candy and then disappear and then
I
come back
forgot
and grab
about that. He
more.
took a Red Bull.
Yeah,
He took Red Bull
Bull.
too. He did.
Red Bull, like he came to our booth like 4 times to get candy.
That's right. I forgot
Yeah.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask too about having Koi up there when you guys won.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so special. I mean, Bibbs and I didn't have a manager the first year, so it was really just us, leaning on each other. And so to be able to have Koi come in was just great because that's kind of been the fun of being in teams. There's something very special about the people that do it in singles, and it's just them up there. And so when I say this, I'm not trying to say that it's better. It's not, but it's fun to win in teams when you get to share it with somebody.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah, for
and then to add Koi is great. And the thing that I'm most excited about is that we won these 3 in-person matches this year, and we got to celebrate with Koi in real time. That was
That's
a thrill. And he's so hyped every single time. And you need that sometimes. I was talking to somebody after the match, and it's like, do you hear an echo there? Is that my?
Yeah.
There's an echo.
Yeah, it's yours.
It's you,
Oh, really?
Jake.
Oh, it's Jake. Oh, sorry. I just wanted to make sure it
Jake.
wasn't.
No, you're fine.
It's Jake.
But I was going to say, oh no, I don't mind. I just
There
want to
we
make sure it wasn't something I could fix
Nope,
quickly.
nope.
But yeah,
You're good.
I was saying it's I was talking to someone after, and they're like, "Oh man, when you missed that one question in round 1, you were looking at Koi, and you had to calm you down, and you were so stressed." And I said, "Well, but that's like when you watch tennis. A lot of times a player will hit a bad shot, and they'll be looking at their box, right? They'll be like, oh, and they'll be, and sometimes that's actually not you losing control. That's sort of you. That's right. Sometimes that's not you losing control as a player. Sometimes that's what you do is you focus on the manager or the people, and you kind of expel the negative energy. You sort of like get it out by vocalizing it to someone like, I blew it. I can't believe it. I'm so mad. And he's like, you're good. You're good. And you're like, I'm not good. And he's like, you're good. And even though, you need that person who can bounce off you. And I think Koi knows in any given moment what he needs to give, whether it's encouragement, whether it's, yeah, that's too bad, but don't worry about it, or whatever it is. So it's great to have that extra person there to kind of to get with it. But it's been great to just have so many matches, because it's like, we have such a breadth of experience now that there really is no situation where I get stressed before the matches, but in the matches, we are able to kind of stay. I think me and Bibbs are able to stay pretty even keel. We've had big leads and lost them, and won. We've had big leads and lost them and lost. We've missed the betting round question and had to come back. I mean, I remember when they missed the betting round question, and I just didn't even react. I don't think to King Arthur, because at that point you're just like, well, it's still the speed round. There's still this. There's no longer that sort of. And actually, I was joking with someone after, and they were like, "How would you have done on their Pixar questions?" And I said, I didn't really listen. And they went, "What?" And I went, yeah, I didn't really pay attention.
They're not your questions. You don't.
Well, yeah, but it's almost like, but what if you steal? What if the steals? And I was like, well, I said, Griffin's pretty much a Pixar expert. I think it would have been a waste of energy. I don't want to waste any energy going, is he going to miss? Oh, maybe he'll miss. Maybe I'll get a steal.
Yeah.
I just want to basically spot them 12 points. Anything else is a surprise. Spot them 12 points. Disassociate from the whole moment, wait till they're over, and it's all about that interior battle of like managing your own. Yeah, imagine. And it was just funny because someone's like, "How'd you know?" I'm like, "I think I heard 2 of them, but like I don't know. I'm gonna get them all. It's a complete waste of energy for me to."
Yeah, don't with those
game.
2. Yeah, with those
That's
2,
the whole
don't
thing.
waste your time spending attention to their Pixar
Especially in
questions. 'Cause
Pixar.
they're
No,
just-
totally. And that's the
They're
whole
just gonna
game that
knock it out of the park.
Bateman and these people do. That's the whole strategy behind burning your repeats, right? Is that if you can get your opponent to start going, oh, well, maybe they're going to miss this. Maybe I'm going to win. Maybe I'm going to win. And then you have to answer the 5 after that. It's way harder than if you're just like, nope, they got it. Forget it. Put your feet up. Like, I'm waiting, And again, you don't always succeed, but that's, there have been plenty of times where I've just been like, please miss. You're just so stressed and you don't want to answer your 5 points. Please just miss. But that's the game you play. You're always trying to stay calm.
Well, speaking of Koi, this is random, not really pertains to what we're talking about, but we obviously know that the No Way Home premiere is happening tonight for Spider-Man.
That's right.
The official Spider-Man Twitter account actually said Koi Jeonju is here.
Oh,
Ah.
wow.
Cool.
So he is one of the special guests on the carpet tonight. So there
That
you go.
probably
That's awesome.
made his life.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
thank you
that's
for Ed
awesome.
Haskell for Ed Haskell pointed that out to us.
Thank
so
you,
thank you,
Haskell.
Ed. Very, very cool. Well, Brendan, I gotta say, man, it's been an absolute joy watching you play this year. It's been an absolute joy talking to you. Congratulations.
Can I say one more thing?
Go
You
ahead.
did literally. So I got there late into LA. We went to the bar for Jill's thing. You had the most LA thing I've ever seen.
Oh,
You
he
come
brought
into
sushi.
the sushi to the bar, and I was like, I am in LA.
No, but that was because honestly, I had spent that whole afternoon binging movies that I had to watch before the match for what we were using on the. Like, there were 2 movies that I said to Biz, I got it, I'm gonna watch those, and so I had to watch them. And so by the time it was time to go over to Jill's thing, which was near my house, I was like, I don't know any food. Like, I'm just gonna have to go to sushi and eat it there, or else I'm gonna be like an hour late. You know, like it was just a whole thing of like. So I didn't plan it that way. It was all because of I was studying. So
It was
It was
amazing.
wonderful.
Yeah, so congratulations on finally getting that spectacular victory. Cannot wait to see what happens next year. We look forward to talking to you in the future, and have a good off season.
yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. It was funny originally. We were gonna be traveling around a bit at Christmas, and so before the match, I was like, well, if I don't have the belt, I'm not even gonna be here. I'm not gonna be looking at the part of my mantle where you're supposed to be. And then
Aw.
plans changed, and now everyone's coming here. So now it will be. I will be able to.
Yay.
I won't be looking at the the place in the because last time I had it with me over the Christmas break, but admittedly when we lost Odd Couple, I did put it back in my suitsuitcase and I did,
Oh,
because
no.
it was a bummer to look at it because we lost. I was like, well, I don't want to see this again.
I'm
So
not-
it'd be nice to it sat in a backpack in my closet for last Christmas, and then I sent it to Jeff in the New Year, but when we were able to. But it'd be nice to have it out, and I'm here in
Yay.
LA. I'll be able to enjoy it, and again,
Now it
it's
can be
really
your
great
Christmas
to get.
centerpiece.
That's
Yes,
right.
it's a great centerpiece.
Well,
No,
enjoy
it's
that
awesome.
time, and we look forward to speaking to you here very soon, man.
Yeah, anytime. I love getting to talk about the game. I was really a fan of it first in terms of I was told that this could be something I could play in, and then I just went and watched it. So I love talking about my own success in the game, but I also just love watching and talking about the other matches. So anytime you want to come on and talk about other things
Good
going
to
on,
know.
I stay
Yay,
plugged
good
in.
good to
Good
know.
to
Good
know.
to know.
Well, thanks
All right.
again, Brendan, and have a good night, man. Thank you.
Thanks,
All right.
Brendan.
Yeah, good night, guys. Bye. Thanks again as always.
Bye.
Bye.
Love Brendan.
Always fun to talk to.
Now I
Always
want
fun to talk.
sushi.
I know.
I
right?
know.
Okay, so because we do have a couple other matches to get to, and I don't have much to say on this match because look, favorite team. I knew they were going to win. It's obvious. Thoughts on the teams match, everybody, before we move on.
Another great match.
Yeah.
I mean,
Very
honestly,
very fun to watch. Glad I got to see it in person. Like the crowd was it was hard to like. Well, I don't want to say it was hard, but like it might have been hard for them to imagine having to kick this thing off with the first match of the night. But the crowd was just like raring to go. They were just like, yes, we're ready to see this team's match. Just like.
I kind of liked starting with teams. I'm
Yeah,
not
me
gonna
too.
lie, because like we know singles and teams is the staple. It was kind of cool to have one at the
A
end,
sandwich.
one at the beginning, and all of the other stuff smushed into the middle.
Mhm.
When it was
can
funny, a
like
lot
it.
of people were talking about like, oh, I didn't know. If you looked, they had the 4 podiums up there.
That was the giveaway. Yeah,
Like you could be
Yeah.
like, oh, teams is first, but that's like neither here nor there. Yeah, I mean, look, they solidified themselves as the GOAT. I already
I-
thought they were,
I-
but they 1,000% are now. There's no doubt.
it's like I said. What more can they do?
Yeah.
Like
They have 13 wins.
13-2.
Yeah. Like what? That's what I was saying. Like what else? Yeah. What else do you need them to do to prove that
Yeah.
status?
Seriously.
Okay.
Add more
let's-
check boxes.
Let's get into the big one, the IG match, which is this one's gonna be hard to talk about, y'all. This one's gonna be hard to talk about because if you didn't know, Robert Parker was staying with us for the weekend. He was part of our POV house, and so obviously he was studying and he stepped away to go study and kind of do his
He
thing
practiced
before the night
magic.
up. He practiced magic, kind of
Practiced
take his match off,
magic.
take his mind off of stuff. But it was the match that we were all hoping for a long time, right? It's Mike Kalinowski, it's Robert Parker, it's old age versus new age of Inner Geekdom, and as we saw, hopefully you've watched Spectacular by now. It ended in a sudden death question about Star Wars, which I didn't know this. I don't know if you guys know this. This is the third time in overtime Mike has gotten a Star Wars question and the match has been decided off of Star Wars.
No,
Really?
The third time in overtime. So the
Wow.
first time against Mara, the second time against Rachel, and correct me if I'm wrong, chat. The second time was against Rachel, and now against Parker. 3 Star Wars questions, all in overtime. He's won 2 and lost 1.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
That's
felt
a
like I was going to throw
weird
up
match.
watching this match.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, Brian, go ahead and start us off. I mean, this match was.
I mean, we obviously had a little bit more of an attachment because, I mean, Parker was staying with us. Like, I mean, you're naturally going to want the person that you're living with to do well. But, like, I honestly cannot remember a time that I was, like, more stressed than this match. Like where I genuinely was, like, invested, like, every question. Like, yeah. How did you think I felt, Brian? Sean, you were in a pickle, sir.
Yeah,
You were
he's
right in the middle of that.
Yeah, him and I were. Yeah, him
Yeah.
probably more so than me, but it was a pickle in the Sullivan household over this
Yeah.
match for sure.
You were in quite the pickle there. But yeah, damn, what a match! Like honestly, it was just heartbreak and excitement. It's every word you could possibly think of to describe this match. It was probably an instant classic that people are going to watch for a while.
It's
nuts.
It's fair to say that it's one of, if not the greatest IG match to ever be played.
One of at least.
Yeah.
Because the way you
okay.
look at it, right? Like the first round was Robert Parker. Kalinowski kind of struggled a little bit. Maybe in a question or two, Parker went up. But the second round happened, Parker goes first. He gets Marvel. The tables turned in a heartbeat. He gets 4 extremely hard questions.
First off, where have the MCU questions been during my reactions? And then you throw them all when I can't actually react.
So Parker, he gets Marvel, and Marvel's every Marvel movie. It's not just Marvel, it's MCU included. And the tables completely turn. I think Mike got 2 1-point steals, if I'm not mistaken.
He got
a couple
Bond
steals.
question, and then what was the other one?
I know he got 2 1-point steals because Parker went to multiple choice, and then Mike ends up going up, and it just like the back and forth, the betting question, then the speed round, and then we go to sudden death because they both missed their 5s.
Oh, it's my arch
Thank you,
nemesis in the chat.
Brandon.
Hello,
Thank you,
darling.
Thank you, Brandon.
Hello.
It was very nice.
Pretty
meeting you
sure
as well,
that's not
Brandon.
on the list.
Would you oh my, pretty sure that's not on the
But they both missed their 5s, and it comes down to that insane Jurassic Park 5-point question for Mike, the Fallen Kingdom question,
Which was so poetic because Parker had been talking about it at our house.
Well,
and he knew it.
Yeah. And take it away, Jill.
There's an echo.
Yeah, I heard an echo too.
It's not me.
If I don't,
yeah,
it's Brian. Yeah, it's Brian. Anyway, yeah, like Sean and I said, for us, this match was obviously definitely a pickle for the Sullivan household, because Sean is obviously on corruption. He's been in all these study sessions, and Robert Parker is obviously a very dear friend of ours. So it's kind of that whole like your faction, and then like it was that whole struggle. So my anxiety, of course, was entirely overall a hot mess during this match. Only given to be more so of a hot mess because Ben Bateman was sitting right next to me, and he kept getting up and sitting back down and pacing. And I'm like, stop it. You are not making this any easier, Bateman. You can sit. Please just sit down. So everyone's anxiety was over the charts for this match. When Robert killed it in round 1, he was super freaking excited. He was shouting at Kaiser and jumping up and down. Only for round 2 to happen, and my heart just shattered.
Everything turned so quickly
into a million pieces. My heart just
Brian, there's an echo.
Broke.
Put some headphones on.
My heart broke, and I think even I mean I can't speak for fellow corruption fans, but I think any person who sees that is going to go, oh,
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to watch, especially in a live setting like that. My heart absolutely broke. But I feel like this match is the prime match that every spectacular needs to have. It was a roller coaster the entire time. It was on the edge of your seat. It was an overtime, which is obviously so much different than the last spectacular live event match we got, where it was a KO within the speed round, you know. So
I was stressed.
who wasn't stressed?
Stressed.
I think everybody was stressed for this match.
And
I
then
was gonna bring up the backstage picture.
Yeah,
That is
Molly
my
has a really good
favorite
backstage
picture.
picture.
It's so
If it-
good.
If there
Yeah,
it is.
it's so
of,
good.
of the
Here, hold on,
dungeon
let me-
watching.
Here we go.
That's
Yeah.
me, Adam Witt, Hoey, Kevin Smets,
And
then
if you
and
you
then
see
Chance.
Smets and Chance, Smets and
And
Chance
Chance.
over there. Yeah.
That's my favorite picture of the whole entire weekend.
Yeah.
I am.
I'm
I
not
think
even
Sean
joking.
took that.
Oh, Sean says I'm a wonderful photographer. Because I
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up something that obviously, like, the last question is a big question we can talk about, and I think it was Alex and myself when we were watching that we saw Parker write the V on his whiteboard.
Every Star Wars competitor up on the balcony went. "Ugh."
Yeah, we saw him write the V,
Yep.
and we're like, oh, that's game.
Alex
but the
Alex
question,
could see him like doing the V shape when he was writing, and he knew immediately that he was.
the question that
wrong one.
nobody is talking about though is Parker's Miss Lord of the Rings question.
That's okay.
Ah,
Oh
That
my
is-
god!
Here's my thing. Everyone was like, "Oh, the Black Widow question, whatever." I thought the second I heard Lord of the Rings and
I thought it was game.
I was like,
I thought it was
did.
game.
I was like, it's done. It's done.
A very, very overthought mistake of writing what he wrote squirrel instead of mice.
Both of them. Both
Right?
of them.
Both of them wrote squirrels, but the question or the answer was a mice. You would think something like that, like Parker should have in the bag.
Yeah.
Like maybe it was the
Yeah.
moment, or just overthinking, or just thinking one thing as of another. But that's the question to me. I'm like, that was the match. That was.
It's
100%
funny
the match.
because it went Lord of the Rings, and I went, Parker's got it. It's Lord of the Rings. Misses it. Next question, Batman. I was like, Mike's got it. Both get it. And it's just like, who's gonna win this match? Like,
What is happening?
it's never gonna end. I mean, if anyone could yell at them, she can.
That was
Yeah.
the first thing Alex told me when I came back out, and we were just talking about the match and how crazy it was, and he was like, "I can't believe he missed that Lord of the Rings question," and I had to be like, "Wait, which one? Oh, the squirrel one."
Squirrels.
I know.
Yeah.
Whenever like the gasps that they both picked the same wrong answer.
Well, because everyone thought they were like, oh, they're both right. And then Harloff
Yeah.
was like, actually, no,
Yeah.
you both
Yeah.
suck.
Yeah.
You're both
Yeah.
wrong. Like, it was
Oh
like,
my
what the heck?
god.
I was waiting for Mark to be like, "You're both wrong, you idiots."
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you know anything? God. Yeah.
Yeah. That match was so up and down. My heart rate was
Mhm.
just not there.
Well, so another thing that we can kind of talk about quickly before we move on is we had the conversation about Shazam being the GOAT. I think this solidifies Mike Kalinowski as the Intergeekdom GOAT of all time as well.
How can it not?
Yeah. I
He
mean,
defended 3 times in 1 year.
yeah.
Like,
Never been done before.
and I want people to know there's a difference between a favorite and a GOAT. I just want to make that perfectly clear because I know for a lot of people, Kalinowski is not their favorite,
Yeah.
but you can't deny literal statistics. Like,
Yeah. It's like the Tom Brady argument. You may hate the guy, but you respect what he did. Like,
exactly.
it's sorry, sports.
Sports just went
Uh,
over their head, Brian.
Yeah,
Come
so
on.
I know. I'm sorry.
Listen, Hitman, sir.
I mean, he has a point there, you know.
I mean, he does have a
mean-
point. He does have a point. But look,
Yeah.
Mike is without a doubt, he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
I
He defended
liked
3
what
times in 1 year. Like,
I liked what Brendan said about the fact that there's just so many people to throw into the ring for contest for like are they GOAT status, and that's only going to happen more and more as you add more people to the league. So it's like it's getting harder and harder, as it should, to
Mhm.
figure out like who is GOAT status.
Yeah.
it's
But
true.
Mike's definitely up there.
Mhm.
And can I just say to this, both Mike and Parker, when
They
Parker
thrive.
came,
Thrive.
Parker came out So at the house, he had showed us he had the fire paper, but he didn't tell us he was going to light the whole damn thing on fire.
All of us were like, he's gonna light the whole theater on fire.
Yeah, like he showed us he had a little teeny bit and then the whole thing. And then when he walks out and lights on fire, I was like, that's gonna burn the stage. Like, this is gonna light on fire, and then just disappears. And then Mike with his TED talk at the stairs was just performances. I will say
it was also big because remember 2 years ago when he was on stage at Spectacular, he got KO'd. Like that's also something to come over, you know, and that's as much as it might not be something for a lot of people mentally, that's kind of that's a big thing to get over.
Also, go ahead, Brendan.
I was just gonna say, this is just the like entrances and the show of it. I missed that. Like this was something I enjoyed.
Can we hold on? Can we talk about how the fog machine was literally turned up to 50?
Dude, I don't know how no one had a heart attack during any of that. Well, I think Brendan had a heart attack when it I think he freaked out.
When that first one off during the teams match, I jumped. Like it was like
that. The one from atop the stage was aggressive.
Yeah,
it was aggressive.
Yay! Was it? I thought it was my birthday present. Which one is it?
Yeah, but yeah, that scared me. Oh my god! Like I had one of those when that went on. I get scared of everything though. So
yeah, that was a lot. I do real quick though. I do want to give Kalinowski bonus points for his send-off message that he had. Where he said, "I'm going to say something that Robert Parker cannot. I'm going to go have sex with my manager." And I was like,
he said that?
Yes,
he did.
No, that was a joke that I told Alex to make one time. Except replace manager with me.
He said it, and I was like,
he said it as he walked off the stage. It was the last thing he said. Yeah,
it was great. It was wonderful.
I'm sad I missed that. Well, it was.
It was great.
Okay, so let's see. Before we move on, I want to get to a couple of these stream labs real quick. First one comes from Brendan Mars. Says, "Hey folks, I so wish I could have been there to meet you wonderful people. I'm so grateful to be part of such an incredible community, and you have all been such loving and welcoming friends. Merry Christmas to all of you." Thank you, Brendan. Thank you. The next one comes from Richard Begg. With a generous $20 here and says, "So glad you could all enjoy each other's company in person. Hope you have more opportunities to meet up in the future. I look forward to the Den's evolution. Also, corruption rules. Where do they go from here? Smaller factions meet rogue agents."
They're going to the bedroom.
Tally ho!
OnlyFans corruption.
To be fair, I think my favorite thing of the whole entire night was the firing of Dewberry. I died because I 100%, no doubt in my mind, fully believed that it was going to be Chance. And then you see Dewberry just come out on stage, and I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. That was my favorite thing of the whole entire night.
Well, it brought back the Wild Berries. The Wild Berries are officially back. Josh McCouga and Elliot Dewberry are once again the Wild Berries. And as they said, shirts available in TeePublic.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was crying laughing.
So yeah, I mean, just real quick to answer Richard's question. Corruption is the faction champs 2 years in a row, and they have to slim their roster down. What do they do? Obviously, Mike is probably their IG player. Mike and Chance are probably their team's player, but you also have to think about Adam and Marisol. Like, what do they do?
I guess if I were Shannon, I would do Mike, Adam, Marisol, Chance, and Laura.
And go for Laura is probably the way you do
it. That's what I would do if I were her. You know,
that's probably what she's gonna do. And you have 2 IG players in Mike and Chance. You have 2 teams technically, 4 singles players technically.
Singles players, like you can't.
Yeah, that's a pretty well-rounded roster, I'd say. But it's hard to say what's gonna happen next year because.
Yeah. Well, you can't do that because Marisol has to be the singles player.
Well, yeah.
Then Corruption's the teams.
Yeah. That's fine.
I thought I assumed it was one person can only play in this division.
I don't think so.
You can commingle.
Well, because most team players are also singles players. Are you saying that Bibiani can't compete in a singles match?
Yeah, I don't think that there's going to be a
Yeah.
situation where you can only lock them down in one division.
Yeah, no, I don't think
That
you'd
would be
able to do
tough.
that.
Maybe for
Maybe for IG and Star Wars,
It would make things very interesting.
Can you imagine how interesting that would make things though? Like that would be.
Well, someone like Brendan, who went very far in the singles tournament and is now the team's champion, he would have to decide. Like that would be very interesting.
It's interesting. It's very interesting.
Molly, did you talk about the IG match? Because I know you were gone at the beginning of it. Did you say anything about the IG match?
I mean, my heart cannot take a match like that. Everybody's like, oh, the Star Wars matches are too hard. I can't play along. This was like all over the place, up and down, up and down. I like after the first round, I was like, I have to go backstage and just sit and think about this.
I'm so glad we pushed you to go down there. I'm so glad.
I am too, because I was like, where is it, Hoey? And I was like, where's Wit? And I was like, oh, they're probably down there. I should go down there. I should go down.
Well, that was like Sean. He kept going up and down and up and down.
He was also, he was like working. I don't know what he was doing.
Yeah, Sean all of a sudden had like basically a crew volunteer worker pass. We're like, what?
That's what Sean does. That's Sean Sullivan for you.
Tim. Oh, go ahead, Molly. Go ahead.
I just had like the match itself was crazy to watch, and then I talked to Wit about this and Hoey afterwards. I was like, man, him losing in overtime on a Star Wars question. All three of us were like, we let him down. We were quizzing him on Star Wars stuff the day before in the car on the way to Kaiser's, and I was like, there's no way I could have known what that last question was going to be, but I was just like, man, I let him down. So I'm going to be quizzing him on Star Wars forever now.
Ever.
Well, before we move on, apparently someone said in the chat, because they did the ranking show or the bracket show with Jacob and Taylor. Mm-hmm. I guess Parker voted against The Empire Strikes Back.
He did. I watched it the whole entire way until it was out.
That makes me happy though. I'm glad he's able to joke about it. So I'll allow it.
Oh, the shade.
Get out.
Out.
Tim Sim, I'm going to save your question for once we talk about the singles match. So hold on to your Streamlabs, man. Thank you. Let's talk about the Roca Merle match quickly. Which was
wait.
Oh, here we go.
Sean says he loves you.
All right.
Yeah.
he takes good pictures.
Okay.
You
took a good picture, Sullivan. You get one pass.
Let's talk about this match quickly, because this is the last ride for one John the Outlaw Roca, and this is actually a great time to say this for all of you watching. He's actually going to be on our show next week. We locked him down. He's our single guest next week. We're going to be able to talk to him about everything next week. The show is going to be focused on him and his career and kind of just reminiscing a little bit. But look,
we're giving him a whole show.
We're giving him a whole show.
Oh dear God!
So it's gonna be a lot of fun. But look, he got to play his arch nemesis, his former teammate, one of his best friends, in Dan Merle. And for the first time in a long time, you saw a very relaxed, fun style of trivia, going back and forth, the laughing. We talked about the buzzer earlier in the show where he mistakenly hit the buzzer and was like, what's going on? And then obviously the very end of it, right, where Dan gives him the belt, the original belt, even though he did lose. Molly, what did you think about this match overall?
It was, just a joy to watch these two players have a match finally. Like, not only was it live at Spectacular after all this time, with the pandemic and whatnot, and then just them being able to kind of play in a relaxed way and have a little bit more fun with it, and know that it was not about winning or losing. It was about having a good show and showing, Roca a good last ride. And that's exactly what they did, I think. Watching Roca talk afterwards was just like
That was
I don't-
hard.
I don't think there was a dry eye
Yeah.
in the venue. Everybody was he was getting really choked up, and so was I. And I was like, man, this is crazy. To think that he won't be playing anymore, but you know, he'll be back for something. He'll be
Just to
back
yell
play
at,
for
just to
something.
yell at people. He'll be
Yeah.
back. Just to do that.
Well, and I didn't
Yeah.
because he said it in his speech, but I didn't realize 7 seasons.
a
7
lot.
seasons.
7 of 8. I mean,
7 of 8. He put in his time, and I know it didn't go out the best way as what he wanted, but he went out playing one of his best friends, and it was fun. Like, it was really fun and enjoyable to watch and see them kind of have the back and forth. Even though like the buildup was like, oh, Merle versus Roca, you just knew as soon as they got on stage, like it was just going to be an absolute blast.
Also, I want to say, just because I don't know if everyone noticed it, I can't remember if he pointed it out or not, but Dan's shirt had the burbs
The burbs.
on it, and he was very excited about that, I think, because he told us about it the day before, and I was like, oh, that's so funny.
that match was just so heartwarming and fun, and like you could tell like that one wasn't so much about the trivia, like it just was the show. Like, I mean, and I think honestly, I truly believe like, and that's kind of what Roca was doing. Like he was, I feel like he was soaking in the moment, and like to the point where he hit that buzzer and it's like, wait, where are we? Like, what's going on? Like, so like, I mean that no one cared like who won or lost.
Mhm.
Like we just wanted to see two friends having a good time, being funny, and like it just, I mean, we got Mance came out.
That was very cool.
Emma Fife came out for like it just the whole entire thing. Like it
Matt
was
Nost.
just
Matt Nost.
yeah, Matt Nost too. Like the whole thing was just so great, and just I mean, if anyone deserves it, it's him. And I mean, I haven't even watched it. Like I'm not someone that's been around since the first season, and still like you just know how big of an impact he has, and just it was just, and it was a nice palate cleanser too from the stress of the
We had followed
show.
the IG match.
Yeah. It was
So I mean, it was just I mean, honestly, you kind of completely forgot that you were doing a trivia match more than just people having fun. And that, I mean, you need that. Like we've always said, like that wheel was
Their reaction to it, because they didn't see it. They never saw it.
yeah.
Mhm.
That was great.
PJ was an a-hole on that one. like,
I
but,
think both of them were like, we don't want to see. the
I
wheel
don't
before
think
the
so.
game.
and
Yeah.
it was just it was so perfect. Like I don't think you could have had done that any differently than what it was. It was just perfect.
Mhm.
Chill.
I mean, yeah, this was an old school Schmoedown match. You know, they were having a good time with it. No one was stressed out. They were like joking with each other. It was a good, fun old school Schmoedown match, and I love the subtle shade that they had in like some of the questions. Like "I am number 4" was an answer, and like just
All the old
subtle,
people questions.
all the old people questions. Just the subtle jabs were like perfection, and those were a lot of fun. And like if you caught it, it's like it was like fun little Easter eggs that you got in this match.
I asked PJ if all the questions were going to be questions that Roke had missed throughout the years, and he's like,
that'd be terrible.
"It would have been so good."
Oh my God, that'd be so sad. But I mean, yeah, it was. I kind of wish it hadn't ended in the way it did. I wish it was like a closer match. But I mean, Dan Merle is such a. I think everyone knew that because Dan is such a stand-up guy. Like everyone knew that no matter what the outcome was, Roca was going home with that belt. You know, and I was
huge, by the way. I think it's
That thing is
it was
ginormous.
gigantic, yeah. And I was lucky enough to catch Roca in the green room a little bit after the match, and I pulled him aside and I said, "Hey, I know that we like to give you a lot of ish on our show. And he was like, he dished it right back to me. And he was like, you act like I watch your show. And I was like, all right, listen.
Hey,
Because
he
we know he
told
can
us the
take it.
best after show.
Yeah.
We have it on tape.
He did. And I told him, I was like, hey, the reason why we give you so much crap is because your character has been, you're the reason why characters exist in the Schmoedown. And I told him, I was like, as a wrestling fan, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have, you know, the Video Drews and the Ben Batemans and Andrew Guy and like these big, huge characters if it wasn't for John Roca. And I told him, I said, hey, thank you. And thank you for all you've done. And we'd love to have you on. And now he's going to be on next week. And so it was definitely a really cool way for him to tip the hat and to ride off into the sunset.
I will say it was also very cool in the entrance that he was able to bring his patrons of the mask.
That was very cool.
Some people who support him the most, and I know one of our patrons, Ryko, was one of them.
Yeah. Ryko was
you could
there.
spot
Even
Ryko from a mile away if you
Even
know Ryko.
Winston
Logan,
was
it looks like Logan was a part of it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Winston even had the mask on when he was
Yeah.
upstairs in the balcony.
Yeah, he did. That's
No,
cool.
it was a great send off, and I can't wait to talk more about it next week with John and kind of about his history and what he's left behind and everything. So with that said, let's get into the big bad singles match of the night, the one that capped everything off. And we have a reigning defending champion in one Marisol McKee. She makes Griffey Newman go 0 for 2 on the night in a very intense, close battle down to the wire. Very similar how she won the title from Ethan on a 3-point question in round 5. But just everything about it, the entrance, the questions, her, just her ability on stage as a movie trivia player. Brian, start us off, man. What did you think about this singles match?
I mean, Marisol's a bad MFer. Like that is one woman you do not mess with. And from the get-go, she was like, try me because you're not going to get this belt. And it's like, I get chills how she plays. She is just the most like, I don't even know, just her presence. It's her presence that makes everything, because she's not someone you want to mess with. And you know it from the second she walks out. Like, she's going to throw haymakers the whole entire match. And you just, like, you have to be on your absolute A game, because she does not play on anything other than her A game. And I was so excited. It may not have been the real sword, that she had a sword to go out on the stage.
Speaking of, Sean showed up with.
How did Sean end up with the sword upstairs?
Oh yeah, I picked it up and I was like, oh, it's not that heavy.
Yeah. So
Hi, Robert
Parker.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah. God, freaking Marisol is just I argue almost there's no one like her. It's just, there's just this presence that she radiates when she plays, when she's on stage, that she's just not someone you mess with. And I don't know if there's anyone that, like, I get more excited to see, because she just, it feels like you're watching a fight, like a UFC fight, and she's just going to beat the living out of whoever she's playing against. And I just love it. Her matches are just so entertaining to me. I love it.
There's a lot of people talking about Griffey's new theme in the chat.
He's fantastic.
Apparently it's very popular. Also, one of my favorite moments were the bubbles.
The bubbles were so fun.
I took a picture of. I was like, "Why do I have a picture of bubbles on my phone?"
That was a great entrance. It's a very Griffey Nooms aspect to his entrance. Very, very, very cool. But Molly, I mean, look, Marisol defends. She wins the title for corruption, which is also a big aspect of this. Yeah, I mean, the bubbles were very cool. That's a cool picture.
Yeah, I know. I don't even remember taking it.
But there was a lot riding on her shoulders, not just to defend and continue being the first ever female champion in singles, but for her faction as well, and she delivered on every aspect.
I mean, for a lot to be riding on a pair of shoulders, what better shoulders?
Right?
She has
Back.
great
Marisol.
shoulders.
Back.
Great shoulders.
Marisol could never answer a trivia question ever again about Star Wars, and she would still be my hero. Like, the woman friggin' rocks. Like, when we met her Thursday night at your birthday thing, Jill, she was like so sweet and like humble, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm meeting Molly and Alex," and I was like, "What?" Like,
I literally went, my queen, and like down to her, and she's like, stop that.
I need to like sit down and have like a full 8-course meal with her to have the amount of time to like talk to her about all the things that I want to talk about.
I mean, we had 5 hours with her during happy hour, and that wasn't enough time.
Maybe
No.
we
That
should make
wasn't
it-
enough time.
Maybe we should make a solo happy hour, and it's just an 8-course meal, like literally. You guys are just eating.
Ooh.
All
We
the
do
men are all the
mukbang.
men are waiting on you.
Yeah, make Sean and
Alex.
Sean and
John,
Alex.
Alex, and Adam, all of them are just waiting.
I start laughing. Oh my god.
Wait on me. Give
That
me
would
the
be
food.
amazing. They're like their waiter costumes. like- oh my god, that'd be so good. Anyway,
That'd be too funny.
But yeah,
For the record, Sean said he was gonna make the pizza, and he never did. Salty. Sorry, continue.
what pizza?
He was hammered, but he swore that he's like, I'm gonna make the pizza, a pizza. Da, da, da. And I'm like, Jill's right there. Don't tell her.
I would be upset, but he literally just built me my birthday present as we were on the show, so I can't be mad at him.
Fair.
So
Well, I don't want to not talk about Griffey Nooms because his whole performance from the teams match to the singles match was insane. I mean, he's had such a crazy, amazing year.
Fair.
You can't count him out. It's kind of like with the Star Wars match, like everyone was like cheering for Nikki, when the fact is both Nikki and Thomas are amazing players, and that's the same with Marisol and Griffey Nooms. Like, they're both phenomenal players. It's just that like Marisol is just blazing a trail right now that is it's a long time coming, and I think everybody's just really, really excited for what she's doing and what she can do for this league. So
someone's gonna have a very tough time beating her.
Yeah. Good luck.
Very, very tough time beating her. And if it comes down to something with buzzers, I mean, we saw what she did in buzzers as well. And that we talked about that question where they were just sitting there waiting, and then she pulled out that buzzer in the last second. That's a championship move. That's an absolute championship move. And I know that, we're talking about Marisol a little bit, and I think the match came down to a certain moment with Griffey and the Bewitched question. Then when he thought it was Nicole Kidman, because Marisol had just gone through Nicole Kidman, he had a simple brain fart, and the problem is when you miss, Marisol is waiting in the wings.
I was standing next to Zach Burkett during this, and he said, I literally right before it happened goes, what he needs to like focus more on the match and not his character. Otherwise he's going to miss a question. And then immediately after that, it happened. And I was like, oh, dang. Like,
that's how simple and easy a mistake can happen. Like it can happen in the simplest of things. And we've seen it in every division.
I mean, he had to play the first match and the last match.
Poor thing.
That's absolutely
a lot.
And I know they did that for his sake, but it might have been better if they were actually put a little
back to back.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's entertaining.
Oh yeah.
I hope he's back. I
mean, there's a reason why, despite him not winning his matches spectacular, that he is still basically 50-50% for Rookie of the Year with Thomas Harper.
Yeah, that
You know,
conversation
like,
is on fire.
I
It's-
love that is just being lit up
It is.
everywhere.
It is.
And the voting
people
just
people
does
are like
this.
going after each
yeah,
other.
it's like this new battle in the Schmoedown community it's between, obviously it's gonna be between Griffey and Thomas, and like even with him not winning
Hi,
the
Hoey.
spectacular matches.
Hi, bud.
But y'all know my love for one Marisol McKee, and so for her to defend was, I want her to keep the belt forever at this point. Like she can just not get rid of it, and I'll be very happy. Another really cool photo moment along with Molly's at the dungeon was all of Corruption.
I have a
on
really
the
cool
side.
video of that. Yeah.
Watching Marisol. They're all like shoulders on each other, like
They
heads
look like
down,
they're all like
they look
doing
like
a-
they're praying.
Well, I think it was the very last question that picture.
I think it was too,
because they were just hoping, obviously.
and I don't know if we had talked about it or where I had seen it, but Marisol has never had to answer a 5-point question in any of her championship matches.
Yeah.
Which
Dang.
is
Beat
is
on the
a
3, she beat Griffey on the 3.
Yeah.
That is
crazy.
pretty savage.
Which is crazy. She's killing it, and deservedly so. And I'm very glad that she's going to be the champion going into next season. But like we said, he's been this rookie phenom, both for his movie trivia knowledge and also his freaking wacky, brilliant character. He came in like with a freaking, not like literally with a blowhorn, but like he was making noise as soon as he freaking came into this league. And unfortunately it did not go his way at Spectacular, and it's unfortunate, but I really hope he's back next season, because he is a freaking treat.
Yeah.
And
I wonder if Griffin.
Even if he didn't, like, can you imagine him?
I'm pointing at you if you're listening to audio.
Can you imagine him like walking with the record that he had just in one season?
Well, so it was funny before Spectacular. There was actually a conversation going on between a lot of people saying, if he wins both his matches and he goes undefeated, he should just walk away. He'd have the single greatest season ever.
Like retire and then just be like.
He would have the single greatest season in the history of Schmoedown. Obviously, it didn't happen, but he went 10-2 as a rookie in 2 divisions.
Crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's and Brendan even said it when he was here that he will hold the belt someday.
Like it would have made sense if he won. It would have made sense.
I would absolutely do that if that was my record.
I would too. Excuses.
Absolutely. I would have been like, goodbye.
Yeah, I have no doubt in my mind that Griffey Newman will hold. If he does come back, I have no doubt that he will hold a belt.
He's a future champion. He's a future
100%.
Okay, well then that means he's taking it from Marisol or Shazam.
I mean, but
he's gonna take it from Marisol. Shazam's not gonna lose. So
listen.
I don't know about that. She's swinging people's heads off with that sword the way she's playing.
Oh, there's our other POV housemate.
Hi, Paige.
I miss you, Paige.
Hello.
Oh my God, woman, breathe. Take a teensy break.
It's the off season. What are you doing?
Yeah,
it's been the off season for like 3 days. Like, just go watch go watch a sports game.
Enjoy the holidays.
Yeah, go see a Bruins game.
Watch a sports.
Okay, so any final thoughts on the singles match? I mean, look, it lived up to everything we were expecting. We all picked Marisol. We said it was going to be close. It ended up being close, and she's now the defending champion going into next year. Any final thoughts before we wrap up with one more thing?
She's just an absolute beast. I can't wait to see her play next year.
Same. Okay, before
I
we get
hope
to
all of them get a chance to just relax over the holidays, take a beat.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That comment
Wait, what?
That comment doesn't exist.
I won the fantasy league.
Brian, that's why I'm going to put you on a timeout because of that comment.
Can I tell you, when we found that out, you weren't around, Jill. I said it in front of Jake and Frank, and they both go, "Don't say anything. She probably won't figure it out."
Yeah. No, we didn't
Someone
say that.
told me.
You're lying.
No.
You're lying.
No.
Jake Berlin, you are a liar.
I didn't say that she won't figure it out. I say don't tell her. Don't.
I think someone from the View crew told me, and I was like, "Ah, snap!" And so I went
Yeah.
straight to
Paige, we don't have
damn
any more
it,
gift
no.
cards. We don't have any more gift
Yeah.
cards.
I want
Yeah.
Taco Bell.
That sounds
Okay,
good.
so real quick before we move on to our last thing, I want to make sure I get to Tim Sims Streamlabs here. He says,
yeah.
just leaving this here as I'm recording my season 8 recap for the Insight. After Spectacular and amid the talks regarding faction and manager of the year, do you all think the dossier was a success or failure?
Success, if you
they
don't
almost
think it-
won the thing.
Yeah.
They were in first place going into the final event without ever getting to a championship match. That is a success.
Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. They never had a championship
Their
match.
first championship match was the first match of Spectacular.
So they did that. Sorry, Joe, go.
No, you go.
I was just say they did that. They almost won the faction title. Correct me if I'm wrong. They had the least amount of losses on
had the most
season.
wins.
least amount of losses, and Griffey/King Arthur won the last 2 tournaments.
And did they not have the most wins too?
They had the most wins.
Yeah,
I
they had
mean-
the biggest win to loss ratio.
I at this point, it's
Jeffrey,
Oh,
we're
Jake,
we're
you-
agreeing with you, Jeffrey. Relax.
yes,
We're agreeing with
it's
you.
it. I mean,
It was nice to finally meet him too, by the way.
yes,
Isn't he like the sweetest? Like
He's just
Yes.
a sweet little kid.
yeah.
he's not. He's like 27.
What?
He just had a
There's
birthday,
There is one kid in this league, and we know
and that
who
is Brendan Meyer.
Yeah, no, what more could they have done other than
Yeah.
win the belts? I mean,
Well, and it's funny. I caught Finstock after Barney's, and I was like, "Hey, man, like, congratulations on everything this year." He goes, "Congrats on what? We lost." I go, "What, bro?" Like,
Fucking dog now. Yeah.
I'm surprised he was sober enough to talk to you.
I don't think you ever
but
really know when Finstock is drunk.
That's
You
true.
don't. You don't. He's an enigma. But I'll say it here too. I said it. We talked about it on the.
They had decoy dossiers for sale.
Yeah, you didn't
Yeah.
see that?
No.
They had-
Yeah, at Roka's table.
Yeah, they had
I
dossiers.
wish I would have seen.
I think it was
that.
Roka's. I'm pretty sure it was Roka's table.
Yeah. But
yes.
it was
Sorry.
great
Continue.
success. But I said it on the balcony after all the matches were done. They may not have won the faction title, but I'm voting for them for faction of the year.
I agree. We talked about that
Oh yeah.
while the match was
Like,
happening. I agree.
You know.
So Chuck sent me this. This was Brother Lomas's file,
Oh my god.
and it has just like all of his stats and stuff on it.
That's funny.
It's like weakest categories, high drama, and indie darlings, and just yeah.
That's funny.
Mhm.
But yeah, how can you not yes, they didn't win the faction titles, but they had the best win-loss record of the year.
If
Like-
I'm not mistaken, they had 10 rookies.
Yeah.
Right? JTE and Roka are their own. Oh,
They're-
Barbarian. They had 9 rookies.
They didn't
had-
even use one of their players.
Yeah, they had 9
Yeah.
rookies.
They literally
Um,
did not use Kim Taylor Foster the whole year and still did this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm the corruption shill. And I'm saying this, I give credit where credit is due. I will vote Shannon for manager of the year 100%. But
It'd be
Yeah.
different if it was Barbarian.
they should just put Barbarian as manager of the year.
Honestly.
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie, they really should. But yeah, I'll vote. I'm voting for the exchange for faction of the year. I'll say it right here.
I agree.
I think the dossier worked. I think they got lucky. I would like to see how they do next year.
I'm interested to see who they keep next year.
So
Yeah, good
that-
luck with that.
it's good to
Yeah.
kind of say now is we're probably going to do an episode where we talk about who's keeping who or who we think
Mhm.
is going to keep who. Probably in the next couple weeks. So look out for that. We'll talk. Definitely, Finstock is going to be one of the main things we talk about because that team's going to be very hard to plan what they're
I
going to
think he has the hardest decisions.
Yeah. There's a lot of players that they're going to end up keeping because there's a lot of players that play multiple divisions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But because we haven't gone over time like we usually do, I want to make sure we talk about the greatest thing that came out of Spectacular, and that is the return of one the Smasher. Kevin Smets is back, everybody, and he had a grand entrance back into the Schmoedown world.
I
That
love
music,
Chundru.
just everything about it. Yeah, I mean, like Chundru setting it up, right? Coming out as the Joker. He's got fake tattoos, torn t-shirt, setting it all up, saying that, he wants a challenge, and his challenge walks out, and it's the Smasher. And Kevin Smets returns. He's back. He's going to be back next season, which also sets up an interesting dynamic for what's going to happen with the dungeon, which we'll talk about. But let's just talk about it in general. And Jill, I'll let you start this off because I know this is big for you specifically because of how close you and Sean are to Kevin. How emotional was this for you seeing him walk down that stage again?
I have had to keep that a secret for months. And and when he was on Happy Hour and talking about how he's probably not going to be back next season, I was believing him. And I was like, wait, what do you mean you're not coming back? I was like, wait, what? Like, but I was a hot mess. Tears were falling from my eyeballs. I was lucky enough to be the one to sneak Dasha and Kira and Kevin's dad up to the balcony, and I got to stand next to them. And Molly recorded Dasha and Kira the entire time, and I'm so glad you did because Kira was
so cute.
I need to figure out
I
how
loved
to
her. I loved her
email
tiny
those.
hoodie with her headphones.
her little.
Videos.
They put her in a little hoodie, so she was wearing a little hoodie like Kevin. It was really cute.
And she never stopped staring at him while he was
No.
on stage too.
Well,
She was playing with her tongue for a while, and it was adorable.
So when during the singles match, I was sitting next to Dasha with Kira, and Kate was playing with her, and Kate was like, "Where's Daddy? Where's Daddy?" And Kira literally pointed like down to the stage, and we all lost it. But getting to hear his music again and seeing Smasher on the screen and just hearing him cut the absolute best promo in the history of the Schmoedown was not only moment of the year, but I think moment of Schmoedown history. Like it was pure perfection. And also kudos to Chundru for taking that beating like an absolute champ. He just stood there and took it. It was Peter can stick it.
That was good. That was good.
Wonderful. It was the perfect way to end the season. Hashtag smashed cancer indeed.
He looked so happy afterwards, and just like because we saw he ran next door for just a little bit and was so like
he's glad to be back.
at home.
Yeah.
Like this, this was my normal. This is my normal. And
and think, I mean, it's only been a year. It hasn't been like 2 or 3.
It's only
like,
been one season.
Imagine all of the things he's gone through in the last year to get back to this point.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's very emotional. So
I can't play the sound.
Look at that.
Look at her little hoodie. She's
the moment that Kevin found them and pointed at them is where I started like, oh God.
Well, because he points and then he sees Kira and then he laughs and has to turn. And I'm like, I'm going to cry just thinking about it. Yeah, it was
great. It was really, really, and I can't wait to see what happens. Obviously, the Chundru Kevin Smets match is coming. I'm sure it'll happen very soon because it's a match that everyone's going to be looking forward to. But what a moment. What a great way to end Spectacular, and what a great way to end such a great event. I mean, I've been to one Spectacular previously, and I've watched them all, but I think this might be the best one yet. The way that everything was set up, the effects for everything, just the transitions, everything was done masterfully.
They went all out.
And I know that a lot of people talked about the audio stuff in the beginning for the stream, but look, technical difficulties happen. I know that talking to some people earlier on in the day, they were having them all day long in a lot of things. And look, it doesn't matter. The event still went off flawlessly, in my opinion.
It's hard to live stream an event like that if you don't have like a professional team working on it. Like they were trying their best.
I thought it turned out great. Like I thought it turned out like everything. We saw the matches. The visuals were great. The entrances were beautiful. The crowd was rocking. Everything was great. I thought it was an absolute perfect way to end this. And
the crowd was amazing.
Yeah. They need to mic the crowd next time, though.
I think that's always one thing they do with live events in general. That's the one thing that they've never really done because it's always hard to hear them sometimes when they're actually being loud, but you can't really hear them.
That pop for Kevin, I'm so sad that you really can't hear it in that audio because people are like, are people even cheering? The house was literally on fire.
The second you heard the screech,
the
music,
the Winter Soldier screech. Yeah. This is also a good thing to bring up as well. No title changes. First time ever.
That was crazy.
The belt went nowhere.
Everyone defended. So,
Everyone paid extra for shipping and didn't even need to bring it.
And Brian Ward, we appreciate you more than a lot of people, my man. You crushed it with all those graphics, all the work you've done this year. We saw the work you posted on just the Star Wars alone on your Twitter.
There's so many.
So many.
So many.
So many he didn't get paid for that he did just for the joy of everyone who pays attention to him. But to everyone who worked, everyone. I can't name everyone, but
everyone behind the scenes.
It was incredible.
We got to see some of the people, like, who was it? Courtney,
Kim, Abby, Dwayne,
JP.
like everybody. JP, everybody.
You guys shout them out because they were running like chickens with their heads cut off and making sure everything was perfect, and it could not have functioned without those people.
I couldn't talk to Dwayne all night because he was running around like a madman.
I talked to him briefly very early on, and then he was gone. And he disappeared.
Yeah, it's awesome everything that happened in front, but it would not have even remotely functioned if it wasn't for those people.
Put it this way, guys. We had our call time at 9 a.m. Imagine what their call time was.
Yeah,
and the event ended at 6. Just think about that. They had a very long day, and that's the event that they put out. So,
yeah, major props to them.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap up our spectacular recap, everybody. It's been a long one, but huge shout out to Thomas Harper and Brendan Meyer for joining us earlier on the show. Hopefully you guys got everything you needed out of us as far as information for spectacular, our experience. I'm sure we're going to talk about stories and stuff like that over the next couple weeks as we head into season 9.
We did happy hour in person.
We did happy hour. If you did not check out happy hour in person,
we all ate Taco Bell together afterwards.
Yeah, we did. We got to meet our patron.
Some better than others.
Ryan had one of my margaritas.
Yeah.
He did!
Against his will.
Those things, my lord.
Those are beastie. Yeah.
Gabby
I had like
thing,
4.
So.
What's wrong with you guys?
We know.
We know you had 4.
My favorite thing was Alex coming home after happy hour that night to just me and Sean sitting on the couch and just sitting there eating tacos like this.
Yep. I'm just like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
It was great.
I've never heard the word spicy more in my life than that weekend.
Spicy.
They were spicy.
Yeah. So
thank you to everyone who's been watching. It's been over 50, maybe even 60 most of the time. You guys rock.
I got up to 70s at one point.
We appreciate you guys. We'll be back next week with John Roca. He will be our guest. We'll be able to kind of cover everything that was the Outlaw over his 7 seasons in the Schmoedown. And of course, if you want more with us, check out that Patreon, everybody. A lot of cool things happening because we took a little bit of a break and because it's spectacular. We're playing a little catch up on stuff. So be patient with our stuff coming out this month. Please. We already have our bar trivia set. We have our watch along set. So if you're interested, go check out those tiers. We'd really appreciate that. And before we head out, I'll let everyone kind of plug their own little stuff. Jill, start us off.
Yeah, you can find me at Jilly Marie, 2 Y's, 2 E's on Twitter and Instagram. Sometimes I'm on SEN every once in a while. Also, Rachel, I appreciate the birthday wishes. Thank you.
Rachel, thank you for the ornaments.
Thank you for the ornaments. They're all on our trees.
It's mine's right there.
They're beautiful. We love our ornaments. So yes, that is where you can find me.
Brian?
BLCino on Twitter and Apocalypse Movies. Do I know what we're doing tomorrow?
What are we doing
I don't know.
tomorrow? Oh, bye.
Yeah, no, he's showing the logo.
No, everything disconnected.
Oh. That was great timing, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was pretty well planned. What are we doing tomorrow?
Oh, man.
Oh man.
Can you even hear us?
Oh.
Okay.
He was back for like 2 seconds.
You're
I don't
back
know
for
if
2
it's
seconds.
gonna work.
It's
Okay.
fine. You are a canceled.
I don't know
Instagram
what is
logo.
happening.
Well, at least it's happening now. Yeah, Apocalypse Movies. I'll just stop there. Go.
Woo.
Sucks. I hate
Oh
It sounds like you're talking to no one, and just,
I know.
It's wonderful.
You can still hear me though, right?
Yeah, but we're
Okay.
supposed to
Go ahead,
film
Molly. Go
something
ahead.
else after this.
at Molly Damon on Twitter. Check me and Alex out on Star Wars Explained. We are ramping up for Book of Boba Fett, which is going to be starting in just a couple of weeks, just right after Christmas. Very exciting. Good stuff. Yay. Oh, and we are going to see the Spider-Man movie, but not till Monday.
Oh God! Stay off of Twitter.
Monday?
Stay off of Twitter. I'm
We're gonna be out of town all weekend.
Good
Stay off of
luck
Twitter.
staying away
Honestly, I don't care if I get spoiled.
Okay.
Oh, I'm seeing
I
it
don't-
Thursday night. Bless.
I feel like I've already been spoiled
Pretty
1,000 times over on this movie, so I honestly don't care that much. But maybe we'll do an explain it to me on it. Who knows?
Explain it to me.
I hate my life.
Oh no!
Mr. Apocalypse.
I don't know what happened. Like it just.
Jake, you popped
Anyway.
on for a second.
I know. No, I don't know. It literally just turned off. I didn't touch anything. It literally just turned off. Anyway, at Qui-Gon Jake, 2 ends.
Did it overheat?
I don't.
It's like
think
I'm
so.
done. I'm done.
Yeah.
2 ends because someone else took it before I did. Apocalypse movies. You can check our Patreon stuff out. The link is in the description. Everyone watching, thank you guys so much. We appreciate you guys. We hope you guys have a great rest of your week. And patrons, we'll catch you guys later. Bye, guys.
Bye.